All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. Behind the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, never the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
Good morning and welcome to the All Sports All Plays Network. This is the All Sports All Plays College Breakdown. I am Ray Crews. Dre will be joining me momentarily, my co-host here on the ASAP College Breakdown Show, the premier college breakdown show, pregame show. We're leading you all the way up from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., well, noon, high noon here for college football. We're going to break down. We got 16 games we actually break down here on the All Sports All College Breakdown. We do our pick'ems. We do fast, rapid. We go through all 59 games today, and plus a few games starting in week 4. We are starting on week 3 right now, so leading all the way up. When Dre gets on, we'll do our pick'em. We'll show our scores for the total, and then we'll show what we did for the first part of week 3, which started on Thursday of this week. So we'll go through all that right now, but we are here. I'm welcoming you to the show. Welcome. I hope everybody had a great college football. It was a crazy weekend last weekend. We had seen some major upset. We're going to talk a little bit about that here at the beginning. So what's your feeling? Comment what's your feelings about Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois. So, that's got to be a little bit of a attribute right there for Notre Dame. So a lot of stuff going on. College football was well worth it. I was traveling most of the day down to Miami last weekend. I listened to a lot of football games on the road going down. And it's the best way to listen to college football sometimes is listening to the radio broadcast because it give you a full picture a little bit with your eyes, not saying to give you a little bit more communication to have to verbal it out what they're playing, and you can tell the different formations. I think radio broadcasting is really great. Sometimes I try to sync up my stream, but kind of backwards because I'm doing it off an app onto the TV program to actually listen to the radio broadcast and listening to the actual people TV announcing. So further ado, welcome to the All Sports All College Breakdown. I have to bring my man in here, the living legend, the Gator himself, the marching band. He is everything for the Gators. He's the marching band. He's the cheerleader. He even dresses up in the Gator outfit. But he also reminds me of that 1969 Batman when he brings out that red phone. He is the commissioner, the man from Who's to Blame podcast. My man, the only man, the myth, the legend, Dre Montez. Welcome, Dre.
What's up, man? How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, man. You like your intro today? You like your intro today, man?
Yeah, that was nice. It's getting better and better. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you got your Batman phone. You got it going to the commissioner.
Make sure it's off the hook. On the hook. There we go. Got the phone right here.
Yeah, see, you got the Batman phone.
Yeah, buddy. You never know who may call or who I have to call.
Yeah, sometimes you might have to make that phone call. You reminds me of when you pick that phone up, reminds me of the man in Dallas. Jerry Jones has got to make that phone call to make sure his radio station is on, make sure his coaches do the replay correctly and stuff like that. So, he's on Who's to Blame podcast. I'm also bringing back Jag Nation tonight at 9:30 here on the All Sports All Plays Network. Talk about all Jaguars later on tonight at 9:30. Get you ready for the Cleveland Browns game on Sunday, which I will be at. So Dre, man, how was the game last week? That Notre Dame game, the shocker I think that was most of the shocking one of the day.
What I tell you, though, I told you last week, I haven't seen him coach yet. I've seen him take great family pictures, start a great program for athletes at Notre Dame that life after college that are involved in NIL deals, give you financial responsibility. I dig all that. But when it comes to the gridiron and why we hired you, that right there, that was a complete letdown.
Yeah.
That's one of those where they thought because of the name they had an advantage. They thought they were already up 10-0 when the game started.
Yeah, man. But I mean, I looked at the game, but the real tell of that whole game was at the end when he did the post game on the field with his tears coming down and showing the true motion of how he feel about his program and the biggest win probably in that college program history right now under him. So to me, I agree with you. I don't think we have seen Freeman really coach Notre Dame. We just see him taking great photo pictures. I agree with you on that aspect of the game there. So I mean, that's a lot of things, man. But you
I'll tell you
know,
what, the NIU coach, man, the fact that he played football there,
yeah,
that was incredible. And what he learned as a football player on a coach that believed in him, that up-coached him, he has taken that philosophy on to his coaching style right now. And I admire coaches that can use deep and think way back to when they were being coached. And now they're coaches and they go back to that teachable moment where they can still be influential in today's coaching style. I like coaches that do that.
yeah. And if you want to support this show or anything on the All Sports All Place Network, you can support by sending stars to the show. It'll help us out tremendously. Keep this great content going, keep this thing going, and adding more features here. If you can support us on that, that's how you support. Mark Menden said he loves the show. Thank you very much on that. We also love the show. The show is very, very good in moving fluently through the day here on the All Sports All Place Network, on the All Sports All Place College Breakdown. Dre, man, you got your Gator outfit on. King Phil with your Gator stuff going on. We'll be talking about the Gators later on here today. But let's get this stuff started.
Ready.
You can see the Thursday night football games down below, who won, who lost. While that's strolling down, that takes us to the next segment on this thing here. This total wins. Dre, last week, I was 54-21. You were 49-26 last week, but the total of our winning so far is I'm 199 to 56 to 189-66. I got a 10-game lead on you right now at the beginning. But you in week 3, you started off very well. I'm 1-3. You're 3-1 after the Thursday and Friday night football games.
Some good games, by the way.
Yeah, well, some good games there. But you picked up 2 games right there. Let's see how this week's go. When we pick up rest of our weeks here, we got 59 games to go through today. 16 of them we're going to be breaking down here, and leading off to that segue. I got a lot of segues we can lead off to today. This one. So you'll see the thing is going here. We're going to go here. I couldn't make all the graphics there. I worked 13, 14, 17 hours this week, over 17 hours this week. So it's been long weeks and stuff like that. So, and some volunteer days I had volunteered without pay. So that's why this thing's there. So we got a little bit of things. I made these up this morning. Number 4, Crimson Tide at Wisconsin Badgers at noon on Fox from Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin. How do you look at this football game? This is going to be the true road test for Alabama of this year. Melrose, who is better running the ball than passing the ball, he gets you on these breakdown plays. He gets out of the pockets. How can Wisconsin control him and not force him to throw the ball to beat him today?
And this is Alabama, Wisconsin, you said?
Yep.
I think everybody is trying to see what exactly is left over as far as the Nick Saban mindset and these players that are stepping forward and listening to the coach. And I think a lot of players, and it's early in the year to really see who Alabama truly is without the master running the program anymore. So I'm interested in seeing that aspect, because usually they start out real slow and sluggish, even when Saban was there, and highly in games they're playing where they're highly the better talented team. But we're basing this off of years past matchup, and I think that's what Wisconsin shouldn't do. I would focus on the team now and the game plan that we went in with this week and see if that works. I'm a big believer in sticking to the game plan. You can make in-game adjustments and halftime adjustments, but overall, you can stick with the game plan and still win.
Yeah.
And if Wisconsin does that could be the thing. But slowing Alabama down, because when the offense isn't going, that defense is just as hype to show that, hey, we can put points on the board. We can create mistakes as well.
Yeah, I agree with you in that. The line of this game is 16. Alabama's favored by 16.5 points. Over and under is 48.5. What do you take on that over and under there? Since you're the bet expert on this show here. Since
No, don't call me a betting expert. Just call me. We're doing this for entertainment purposes only. So what I'm saying, I think that the under on this looks good. The under on this looks good because Wisconsin can play defense as well. We know what Bama's bringing to the table. But the mistakes that happen during a game, that's commonplace. We know that's going to happen. The overachievers, we know that. And then we always got to involve those people that look like zebras. We call them what, kids? Referees. So those are three factors right there going into it. So I'm going to under in this one here for entertainment purposes.
I agree with you on that. Camp Randall's a hard place to play here in Wisconsin. They play pretty good on there. But this matchup predictor, if you ever go on the ESPN and look at these matchup predictors, these things sometimes they're just outlandish because I think ESPN just uses the name of the team basically on their prediction because they got 92.2% of Alabama going to win this game, only 7.8% Wisconsin to win this ball game today. So
yeah, I think Bama's, but I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk as we would think of in years past what Bama could possibly do in this situation. But it's anybody's turn right now. It's anybody's turn right now. The way this schedule is designed this year and the new playoff format, it's anybody's time right now. Each and every Saturday, we could have an upset. We can have, oh no, let's look at this team now. They're on the rise. They're doing something differently.
And Mark Menon went on and said, I'm surprised Dre had any good picks.
That's funny.
But anyway, let's move right along here in this one. I look at something here. You got the Miami transfer and Tyler Van Dyke, who played okay at Miami, had some good flashes down there, but has played a little bit better here at Wisconsin because of the offensive coordinator and his style of play. I think it coordinates to his style. His style could be more wide open than what we see. But what I talk about Wisconsin is Melrose, he passes. He's already got 394 yards passing this year, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. But he's also dangerous with his legs. And he's more dangerous with his legs because he can get out of that pocket, escapability, and if you get closer into him. How does Wisconsin defensive end got to rush up the field to close him out to where the defensive tackles have to get off the blocks to clean up when he steps up in that pocket?
You can spread that thing out a little bit, or you can bring it in a little tighter and confuse the offensive line on your type of coverage. If you're going to base this on the outside rushers and the linebackers, that's what I would do. But I wouldn't overemphasize the situation because he's going to do his reads off what the defense presents him. Like 80% of the game is done in pre-snaps. So whatever you show him, that's what he's going to go after. So if they can disguise that coverage and create some mishap and some confusion with the offensive coordinator and the quarterback in the moment of the play, that could be a difference maker.
Yeah, and then you got to stop the big play of Williams, the wide receiver for Alabama. He's got 6 receptions, 207 yards, and 3 touchdowns so far this season. But Wisconsin has got a Pauling on the other side with 10 receptions, 108 yards with no touchdowns. But Van Dyke has got the advantage right now in the passing. He's passing for 38 out of 63, 406, 1 touchdown. Melrose is 23 out of 35, 394 yards, and 5 touchdowns so far this season. But they're pretty even on the running backs. Miller, who leads the carries with 20 carries, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Malusa, 35 carries, 134 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, this is pretty much going to be a battle between in the gun wrench. So, then thing, who does have the advantage at the offensive line perspective to your point?
Offensive line, I think Bama has the advantage. They got some big boys there. They got some horses. They got some, hey, I'm checking his ID. That's a grown man. He play on Sunday too, Paul. I'm giving the advantage to Bama.
Yeah, I look at that offensive line a little bit different here. The rushing game, I see you got 60 more yards than what the Wisconsin running back has. So Alabama does have an advantage, but they also both teams only played weaker opponents so far this year. This is the first test of a two Power Five conference going at the SEC versus the Big Ten. So who does have the advantage between the conference? Does the SEC have the advantage between the conference or Big Ten? A lot of people say Big Ten is catching up with the SEC here with the added of Oregon and USC and UCLA to their mix. So what is your opinion on that analysis right there, since you're an SEC guy?
Yes, I've been an SEC fan since the mid 90s, and it has got nothing but better and better and better. I like the fact that other conferences have caught on how to recruit for your program, how to influence others to come to your program. I like that. It's about time people have caught on. But now the recruiting days are not the same how it used to be. Now you got the internet involved, you got NIL involved. There's so many different ways you can get a player to come to your program. But the beauty about the SEC, we're not only bringing players to the programs are winning. The programs are winning at a high number. But the past 2 or 3 years, I like the shift in the competition. When it's one-sided with over 100 football teams, it becomes a little bit of boring. But when it's excitement everywhere, that's why I like the upside on the college football schedule this year. It's opportunity for everyone. This is a no-excuse season to me in college football. And I haven't said that ever. But the SEC to me is dominant, hands down. It's a different lifestyle. It's an experience. Because majority of these teams in college football, especially the SEC, there's no professional team where they're at. So all they have is what, kids? Saturday.
Yeah, I agree with it, but it's an interesting tidbit here that I see in this ball game. Couple notes I've picked up on some of the research I did was Wisconsin is seeking its first 3-0 start since 2019. If they pull the upset against Alabama, it would be the highest ranked SEC Southern Conference team that any Big Ten program has ever defeated in regular season. The Badgers are also aiming for their first win over a top 5 opponent since number 5 LSU 16-14 at Lambeau Field to kick off the 2016 season. Alabama looks to improve 16-1 in its last 17 road openers. It's only a road opening loss during that stretch came at Mississippi in 2014. What is your take on that? What I just read right there.
Well, I think coming in this matchup, I think Bama is 6-1 going against the Big Ten. I think Wisconsin is 4-12 going against the SEC. But those are just numbers. I'm not showing that to the kids. They won't even hear that. But as far as people that talk about college sports, those are interesting numbers to me. Again, Bama is not the same program. I can already tell. But they're a little bit more in tune at the quarterback position than not being a double-sorted horse at the quarterback position where you're trying to run a lot of RPOs. I don't see that. But if the opportunity is there, of course he's going to take off. Now, Van Dyke is in a completely different program. It's more suitable to his needs. Very suitable. He's more relaxed, can ease his pain. The game has slowed down in a fashion where he can control it to his way that could benefit his teammates on the offensive side. But mistakes do happen. Misread, misblock, miscommunication. But that's where that in-game coaching comes at. That's when that in-game communication comes in. Don't overhype it. Don't overemphasize it. These are not the teams of yesteryear. There's no Ron Dane. There's no Nick Saban. This could be a close game, but I don't want to be the if factor. This could be a very close game, but Bama's going to pull away, as always, late in the second half, or really shut them down. Big play, big hit in the first half that kind of rattles a player or rattles a team. But the under of 38, that's what I have the game at. I'm taking Bama.
Yeah, and I wanted to get your intake on this one. Alabama wide receiver Ryan Williams versus Wisconsin Rico Hallman. Williams is the nation number 4 overall prospect in the class, according to some of the rankings of the recruiting of 247 Sports. But also, Hellman has intercepted 7 passes, the last to tie Notre Dame's Xavier Watts for the lead among all football bowl subdivision players. So, what is your take on this matchup between Hillman, who's the best corner for Wisconsin, against the best wide receiver that Alabama has right now?
What's the height differential? Who's the taller, the receiver, or they're the same height?
Let me see here. I'll tell you in a minute here.
Because you
Ryan
can't
is
match speed.
Ryan is 6'4", 270 pounds. Hillman is 5'10", 185 pounds from Miami, Florida. He's a junior.
So that's speed and
But
speed, but
so
technique
now,
is a lot.
but don't let the 5'10" fool you, because Hellman can jump. He's got a 44-inch vertical leap too,
I
so
didn't
he can
say
get
that.
up there with the best. So I mean, don't let the height
Speed and
fool you on this
technique.
one.
Speed and technique. Your technique at 5'10" can be a big difference maker. There's a lot of short guys that play secondary. A lot of them, whole lot of them. But for tall receivers that can run a route and use their hands and their body, they have the advantage point. For the short people, you little folks in the back that have that technique and have that read and react, they can have an advantage. But just going off the fact you can jump and you got a little bit of speed, no, sir. Give me that speed and technique any day of the week. Get that to me on the receiver. Get that to me. You can block a whole person's body. The receiver has the advantage point on one-on-one matchups. They have the advantage point. The ref is always going to be on their side because it's the technique and the way the receiving route is done. Just like with quarterbacks, they have the advantage. They're sitting on an island by themselves. You just can't hit them that way anymore. I'm going with the receiver from Bama having a bigger game. Now, if they shift the coverage package, put him on the other side for as a defensive guy, maybe that could be a difference maker. But you got to go with your coaching instinct if I'm the defensive guy. If it's not working, hey, adjustment time. Let's get over here. If you out there torching me for 10 catches in the first half, 119 yards, and got 2 tugs, let's talk.
So you got Alabama in this one?
Yeah.
I'm going to take Wisconsin in this one. I think Wisconsin's going to pull an upset here at home. I think Camp Randall Stadium is going to be rowdy. It's going to already be the loudest you haven't heard in Camp Randall Stadium in a while since Ohio State came and played in there. So I think this is going to be a home field advantage. I think Milrose, even though he has counted for 9 of the 10 touchdowns that Alabama has right now, 5 passing, 4 rushing, I think Wisconsin's defense is a little bit better than what they have played so far. I think this is going to be a good test. I think Wisconsin could hold their own. I think Tyler Van Dyke has been playing excellent here the first 2 games. He has not been rattled. But if he gets rattled, that could be a little bit of a problem. But I'm going to give you a break on this one. I'm going to pick Wisconsin so to give you a little chance to catch back up with me. So last time I did these breaks for him, he called all the way back up and unpassed me. So let's see how this works out this year.
Give me a break. That's funny.
So you feel confident that Alabama's going to go to Camp Randall and win this ball game without Nick Saban on the sideline? You're confident?
Yep.
All right. You heard it there. He is confident in this pick. So, all right, let's do a little rapid fire here. Number 13, Oklahoma State against Tulsa. What do you got?
Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I'm going to take Oklahoma State in this one. We'll come right back here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come right back. We're going to talk about number 16, LSU at South Carolina and Bryce Williams Stadium on ABC ESPN Plus. So we'll come right back after this. Stay with us. Have fun. Dre, You can go get your potty break so you can do whatever you need to do right now. You don't have to tell me that you need a break like you normally do.
All right.
All right, man. We'll be right back on the All Sports All Place Network. This is the All Sports All Base College Breakdown. I'm Ray and Dre. We'll be right back after these messages.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making a plays. We're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. 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 365, we're making a plays. We're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Welcome back to the All Sports All Plays Network. I'm Ray Crews on the All Sports All Plays College Breakdown. We are here. Dre is right here, so we're going to bring Dre back into this mix here, Dre. All right, our next game we talk about before going to the break is number 16 LSU going into South Carolina. Has been playing pretty good football so far this year. What is your take on South Carolina Gamecocks so far this year?
Woo! This is not the same South Carolina. This defense, I haven't watched the game. I've only seen the highlights and breakdowns the past couple of weeks. And the anticipation of the defense and SEC breakdown week. But this team on defense is something special to watch. If you like the SEC and you like defense and you like speed and people who go after what? The ball. Little Bobby Boucher, a little what's that with Keanu Reeves, that movie there. Dang it. When they told my man, go get me the ball. Go get me the ball. They have players like that on that defense. And I haven't seen the South Carolina defense like this. Woo! Quite some time.
Yeah, I look at it this way too, but we know how LSU is 1-1. South Carolina comes in at 2-0, 1-0 in conference play. This is the first conference game for LSU Tigers. This game is in Bryce Williams Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. Everybody knows how I feel about that stadium, but anyway, we can't keep logging in the past on that one. But anyway, I mean, this is an even matchup according to Matchup Predictor. 51% says LSU, 48.9% says South Carolina because they're playing at home. What is your take on Sellers, the quarterback for South Carolina? I know you said you haven't watched too much. He has 20 out of 37, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Nussmeister comes in at 57 out of 76, 610, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. But Sanders has been a factor at the running back position for South Carolina, 37 carries, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns. Emory's only got 10 carries, 61 yards, Emory Jr. But then you look at the receiving core, Michael Bennett Jr. has only got 5 receptions, 81 yards from 1 touchdown for South Carolina. And Lacey is coming in with 12 receptions, 159 yards, and 4 touchdowns for LSU. What is the different styles between LSU and South Carolina's defense got to play here today? How can they make Nussmeister get rattled in the pocket? Because he gets rattled in the pocket. That's what happened in that first game when they lost. He got kind of rattled at the end of that game and threw some key interceptions. That one pick that turned the ball game around for LSU. So what is your take on Brian Kelly and LSU Tigers?
Well, that's the thing. Brian Kelly has to settle down. He learned a whole lot from his first year to last year about the do's and don'ts when it comes to opening his mouth. When you're in the SEC, folks like to see results in a more positive way. And his actions before football and after football or colliding with me. LSU program has been a fixture for a minute, even back the days of Ed Ogeron. I miss him, by the way. What he did there was wrong, but questionable across the board. But LSU's offensive line, this will be the true test they have. They got a pretty decent offensive line. This will be the true test today in that program on the ability of that offensive line to not let their quarterback get rattled, because them Gamecocks, they got some speed. They got size up front with quick feet, and them edge rushers, they big and long and fast. Hello, America. And that secondary, they know football. I believe Football 101 is a required class in the South from K through 12. I think everybody takes a football class, everybody, because the way those kids read and react to the ball, you can tell who come in that need constant coaching through the game. You can tell those ones. I only had to tell him one time this week, Coach. He gets it. And I just think the IQ of South Carolina, it's early in the year. I don't want to get my hopes that I really got a date for the prom this early in the school year. But the odds are looking good for me that this defense could be a factor moving forward in the SEC. Now that the playing field of me is wide open for anybody, especially in the SEC, where it's like the battle of the Hatfield and McCoys each and every weekend.
Yeah, I get you on that. The Hatfield and McCoys is very, very Kasim there on that thing. But I mean, he come in and he took over LSU, came in with his fake accent of being a Southern guy. Brian Kelly did. But, I mean, it hasn't really fed out to the fit of his program. This is only his, second year at LSU. Still got some little bit of working out falls here. How does LSU take the next step, and then South Carolina that next step on the stepping stone for LSU?
They got to stop thinking that Joe Burrow, this is the Joe Burrow team. They got to stop that. The fans, the coaches that have been with the program 5+ years, the players that keep watching the videos that believe in the hype video, they got to stop that and come back down to reality. Let's coach now and move forward. You can't learn too much looking behind you all the time trying to move forward. You can't do that. It's impossible. Even in board video games, you cannot move backwards one spot, then jump ahead two. Yeah, the game of sorry and chutes and ladders confuse you, but in actuality, in reality, you can't do that. And that is my biggest issue with teams and programs like LSU. You're not that dog anymore. Let's create a new breed and let's go. Let's use the dogs I have now. Prove to me you the Bayou Bengals. Prove to me you the true Bayou Bengals. That should be the message each and every year with that program. You can't repeat what 47 players took away. Impossible. You may have a 4-6 run, but some people get lucky and go on a 10-year run.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. That's a little bit of a thing here with this contrast with South Carolina, and you got Shane Beamer getting the program. He's been there for a while, trying to get it back around again. He did have some success early in the career at South Carolina. He started to get a little bit of momentum going here. It's the post case here of the last season carrying over to this year on this. What they did to Kentucky last week, 31-6, is kind of mind-boggling there. They went into Kentucky and won a game on the road in the SEC. One of the toughest places to play in, areas of Kentucky, starting to build that home program. But the thing where they dominated that ball game was the defense and offense, with their display of total disregard to Kentucky's defense whatsoever. They were going up and down the field like it was a racehorse, like they were at the Kentucky Derby on this ball game. How does LSU have to keep them from not doing what they did at Kentucky at home? I mean, South Carolina at home has been great so far this year. They won 1-0 at home, 1-0 on the road. What is the next step for South Carolina to take to continue this momentum and build themselves up into the SEC at top echelon this coming season?
First of all, out of your 8 questions right there, that Kentucky game, that is filming not for kids. I wouldn't show that game film as motivation or learning curve to LSU offensive line and offensive players because they would be scared. It looked like South Carolina was an NFL team and Kentucky was an 8th grade varsity team. The way they were hitting them and throwing them around on the field, literally throwing them around on the field. I don't know what LSU could use as motivation watching that game film. I wouldn't do it. On the other hand, if I'm South Carolina, when you have a really good defense and your offense is not struggling, but it's keeping up, but it can get better based on the players that I have, I'm gonna have a team meeting in a positive way and say, hey guys, if we can match the motivation that the defense is bringing to this and put that together with what the offense has been doing statistically, we can become a complete team and move this thing forward and have high hopes of being in that bracket. Let's go, team. That's what I would do.
Yeah, Jason Bethel says, good morning. Good morning, Jason, here from the All Sports All Place college breakdown show on the All Sports All Place Network. We're talking about the South Carolina LSU game. Let's go to your pick. Who do you have winning this ball game today?
Give me them South Carolina Gamecocks.
You're taking South Carolina. I'm gonna go with South Carolina. Normally don't pick South Carolina, but I think they have a winning formula right now to beat these LSU Tigers. I think the Tigers are probably going to go a little bit down. I think to hire Jim Kelly, everybody thought it was going to be boost up the program. Right now, it's de-boosting the program.
Brian Kelly.
That's not. Yeah, Brian Kelly. Sorry.
It's his own fault. It's his own fault. Don't lie. Be who you are. Be your true self.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen the real Brian Kelly. I don't know his real voice, his enunciation, his vernacular, his family. I don't know this man. He's the most mysterious, talked about coach in the SEC. I know nothing.
All right, let's go a little bit of rapid fire here. Arkansas State at number 17, Michigan. Does Michigan get back on the winning track today?
That little butt hurt. Give me Michigan.
I'm going to take Michigan, too, on that one. Central Michigan at Illinois. Illinois has been playing great. So
yes,
who
they
you got
have.
in this one?
Yes, they have. Give me Central Michigan.
You're going to take Central Michigan. I got Illinois in this ball game. All right, let's break down this game here, man, my fellas. We're going to go to Florida State. We're going to go to Doak Campbell Stadium today in Tallahassee, Florida. We're going to take on the Memphis Tigers at Florida State. Seminoles at noon. This game will be on ESPN. What is going on with Florida State right now?
They're still mad about last year. They're still – some teams can't get over the frustration of the year before. You got to move forward. Some people can build off of what they did or didn't accomplish the year before, and some people can dwell on it. The expectations are high from a alumni situation. I don't think they have the coaching that they wanted, but oh well, here we are. From a recruiting balance, they're starting to lose some of the big names late in the recruiting scheduling. And overall gameplay look like it's confusion going on out there. Every time I see them snap the ball on the defensive side, look like there's a lot of confusion going on.
Yeah, I mean, when I looked at Florida State in that game against Boston College, they look lost out there. Their offense looked totally lost. The defense looks like they can't defend anybody. Or if their defense does make a great play, then the offense gives the ball right back to Boston College and puts the defense right back out there. Defense has been on the field most of the time than the offense. Offense can't sustain a drive. They don't have a playmaker that they can really rely on like they did last year with the tight end group. I How does Norvell how does this coaching staff get this team back to be back to where they were at the beginning of last year and continue on? But I know you said they were heart-filled and broken over the national championship not being there. But it's a new season, new players, new everything. How did they sustain the success they had and try to build to success now and get back on the winning track and try to turn this program around this season?
I'm not going to hit the button yet, the panic button. I'm not picking up the red phone just yet. I'm not going to do it. It's too early in the year. I'm giving college football until week 4 till a program plays 4 games for you to figure this thing out. And if Florida State can't figure things out by then, the coaches should have a coaches-only meeting, and it need to be some furniture moving. A TV needs to get ripped off the wall. A laptop, an iPod, something needs to be thrown and broken. Coach need to come out there with his hat on backwards. Somebody's sleeve need to be ripped off, and we need all new furniture here in this room. That needs to happen because they just can't take this. You're Florida State. 4 years ago, this program was on what, kids? The rise. Then all of a sudden, they got hit in the mouth, and now they want to take their ball and go home early. They want to take their ball and go home early instead of figuring things out. You got to take it week by week, game by game. Really break down during the week of practice, kids and coaches. Let's not overdo it. Let's keep it as simple as possible for us to do our job. Quick 5 and outs, run plays, RPOs. Keep it simple. Tick, 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 tick. Eat that clock up. Slow the game down. Confuse them. Make them get tired and bored from standing up and sitting down. And you stay fresh. All kind of things they could possibly do, but you can't play a whole season in one weekend. You can't do it. Can't do it at all.
Yeah.
And
like I said, Rob Weil is stopping by to Professor Russell, a good friend with the show here. He said he's stopping through saying good morning to the fine gents here on the show. Good morning to you, Rob. Keep up the great work you've been doing there on the Russell Shoot program and stuff like that. So, but anyway, let's look at this thing here on the matchup predictions so far from Florida State. They have been favored and they've been favored by big margins. Today, they're favored again by 72.8% to 27.2% to Memphis. They have not won a game so far being favored in this matchup predictor by ESPN, but they've been big margins. And I've been short. This is another huge margin. They haven't shown me that they can beat a team like Memphis. They didn't show me they can beat a team that is not, in the top 100 of college football. Until they can show me that they can win this ball game, it's mind-boggling. They went out and got DJ Ugalele. What have I told people here? He comes back to the ACC, hasn't done anything in the ACC, goes out to the Pac-12 and did all kinds of things I did in Pac-12 that really made him look like what he did against Notre Dame that one year when Clemson played Notre Dame, made him look shine. Now he's back in the ACC. He's gone back to the Clemson days of DJ Ugalele. I have told Florida State fans this over and over here in the state of Jacksonville in Florida. I have told them, I said, you went out and got DJ Ugalele thinking he's going to be the savior, and he's not the savior. He has gone back to being the Clemson quarterback that started the showcase in the ACC. It is a mistake bringing him back into the ACC because he has not done anything. He did that one thing against Notre Dame. But now you look at him now, even though he's passed for 465 yards, but he's got one touchdown out of that 465 yards. He's got one interception. He doesn't look very confident like he did at Oregon State. He should have stayed up in Oregon State, not come down back into the ACC. Probably had a better career right now than he's having right now. Is DJ Ugalele the cause of the problem of Florida State's offense sputtering?
I can't blame a kid. I got to blame the coaches. They're the grown people. They're the one that's writing up the plays in the program, watching more game film with the ability to break down a game to give him plays and a game plan that can fit his true attributes. That's the problem. That's the mitigating circumstances, Your Honor. Right there, that's the evidence. That's the man right there. Coach. It's his fault. Can't blame the kid. He can't call his own plays.
Then if we look at this thing here, right now, Florida State, last year at this time, they had a running back that's had over 200-some yards rushing. Now this year, you only have one running back who's leading the team at 48 yards rushing with 15 carries and 1 touchdown in 2 games. That is unheard of Florida State football. Florida State needs to get back to the running game, but they have no offensive line that can push the ball to where the running game can be effective. Once again, that could be the coaching job of the offensive line coaching job right there, trying to get this thing done. Something is not matching with Florida State, but everything is clicking for Memphis. They got Higgins, who's 42 out of 60, 469 yards, 3 touchdowns. They have Anderson has 27 carries, 171 yards, and 4 touchdowns. They are running and throwing the football effectively. Can they continue to do that against this Florida State sputtering defense today at Ocala
Memphis
State?
is one of those programs that has completely changed their identity. We're not just a basketball team anymore. We're not just a soccer team on the women's side anymore. We can go out here and get on this gridiron as well. They're another one of those growing programs that's really believing into a philosophy, and they're sticking with it, and they're attracting people that want to be a part of that, especially here in the St. Louis, Missouri area. Have a lot of kids down there that play football for them and other sports. But Memphis Speed, to me, and the growth of that program, the football program, has been fun to watch. Kind of reminds me of UCF, the way that program and Coastal Carolina program is really went on the upward side of the program instead of at the balance beam. They're moving things on up. And if Memphis can keep up the way they've been playing ball, this could be a long day for the fan base and the players. I don't see them getting over the schneid just yet. I don't see it. But this could be probably one of the best games that they could play, but come up just a little bit short, just a tad.
Yeah, I agree with you on that aspect of this whole thing. But I also agree, too, that I think Florida State could get back on the winning track. But if they don't, this will be what, the three out of one of the – I mean, they're going 0-3 in college football. 0-3 if they don't get a win here today. That's unheard of of Florida State football going 0-3.
They go 0-3. They practicing tonight with the lights off. Everybody turn on their car headlights. We going to midnight. Coach, you're going to get fired. I don't give a damn. We doing it.
Yeah, boosters are getting restless at Florida State here. Who you got in this ball game? Are you going to take Memphis with the big? According to ESPN, predict this could be an upset, but Memphis coming in 2-0 against 0-2 Florida State. Who you got?
Give me Memphis. I like that program. I really do. Keep up the good things down there in Memphis, Tennessee.
Until Florida State shows me something, I'm going with Memphis in there in this victory too.
I'm not getting a hotel room till you show me a little something, girl.
All right, my friend. Let's go talk about Louisiana Tech Bulldogs at North Carolina State Wolfpack at high noon on the ACC network from Carter-Filling Stadium in Raleigh, North Carolina. Coming off the loss against Tennessee and Charlotte last week, which wasn't even freaking close. I thought it was going to be a little bit better football game. But that Tennessee just took them straight out and took the punch right to them and kicked them right in the mouth. How does NC State get back on the winning track against Louisiana Tech Bulldogs, who is a pesky football team?
I mean, man, that was a tough game to watch, especially the highlights last week, the way NC State was just completely dominated on that game. The speed that Tennessee has was like, whoa. It was like watching a video game. You got somebody on beginner mode and somebody on expert, and it looked like that last week for sure. How can I rebuild off of that? Kids, hey, we played a bad game. We played a bad game. Hey, but here you go. Let's get back on this horse and ride this thing out. Wolfpack on 3. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. Did they do that? Probably not. Are they going to do that? Probably not. Because a lot of coaches tell you, hey, forget about last week. Last week doesn't count. We're moving forward. But La Tech, they got that surprising speed to me. and will call a trick play in a minute.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that aspect too. But when I look about NC State and when I looked about what that game last week was, I thought they were going to have a better game because I didn't think Tennessee's speed would match up with Concepcion, but they really took him out of the ball game and they really pissed McCall out of his unordinary characteristic of a football player, the pressure. Can Louisiana Tech demolate the pressure that Tennessee put on NC State by watching some of that game film there and try to pick up some of the blitz package that Tennessee put on NC State and try to get it? Will NC State try to remember their weakness? And what it gets me is, too, on that one weakness, I'm going to give you this one question. Peyton Willis, he was the heart and soul of North Carolina's defense last year. They're missing that heart and soul this year of their defense because if Peyton Willis was on the field against Tennessee last week, that I don't think that would happen. I think he would got on the sideline, got into him. Who is the real leader of NC State's defense right now?
You just said it. They don't have one yet. They got to find that person. They got to come out of that person. But the other question, I think La Tech has more speed offensively that's a threat than their defense. So if they can't stop La Tech's speed with their defense, this is going to be a high-scoring game for La Tech. Very high-scoring game. But NC State needs, if they're looking for one voice to motivate them, and they haven't found it yet, it has to be the defensive coordinator. It has to be that young bull, that young dog. That's where they have to go. If the players are not doing it, coach got to bring you over there and talk to y'all right there on the sideline as one voice. That motivates a defense and an offense or special teams as well.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I go back to the quarterback and Garrison McCall, who played at Coastal Carolina, transferred out with big expectation, but struggled 15 out of 22, 104 yards passing with an interception against the Volunteers. I think the Volunteers are going to make a lot of people look silly this year. I think Tennessee's got a real good team. I think Josh Heupel has done a very outstanding job of recruiting the talent. And they got a kid, if you watch him, he was an All-American in volleyball. He was a big prospect in volleyball and football. If you watch the throws he makes, it looked like he's spiking the freaking football when he throws, and he's got a good arm. But McCall, to me,
6'5", 6'7".
I think he's 6'7", I think. But what I get out of this is NC State's got to watch out for the running back Marcus Crosby for La Tech. He ran for 44 yards in the opener and his return and missing the 2023 season due to injury. He ran for 918 yards and 9 touchdowns in 2022. But also, I think NC State has to get better on the offensive side. I think they got to get Concepcion with different ways of getting him the ball like they did last year. Put him in the backfield, put him on the wide receiver, put him in the slots, get him mixed up on a safety or something to get the mismatch that he needs on this ball game. If they can do that, I think NC State can come out with a victory on that end. But it's going to come back down to the defensive play. The defense of NC State was their calling card last year, was helping them, extend out games, putting their offense in short yard field position. We have not really seen that to the display against Tennessee. This was the notch that the NC State wanted. Circle on their calendar. A lot of fans on their team circled that Tennessee game as a beatable game on the calendar. Wanted to see what that program matched up to, and it was a dismal. It was not even close. And what I told NC State fans were, I didn't think y'all were ready for it because y'all lost a lot of players last year, and that has now proven my point to the fact that the points of the defensive side is not the defense they had last year. How does Dorian get that back together and try to get this focus and really come out and put a statement game out against this La Tech and try to put La Tech out quick in this ball game?
Well, with the La Tech, I don't like teams that have one dominant offensive threat as a receiver. I don't like that because when you can't get them open or the offensive line can't hold up to get that play done, and you're forgetting about the back out of the outfield, your tight end, your other receiving core. I don't like programs that do that. And we saw a lot of that last week with a lot of programs, and they can't get that big play from their guy. to motivate the offense, motivate the teams. I don't like when programs do that because it becomes too obvious to the fan at home, the commentators, and when the defense pick up on it, it's just a sad situation when everybody knows what you're trying to do. So if I'm NC State, to try to rebound from last week, I just take it slow. Take it slow. La Tech, they know what they can do offensively in special teams. I feel a special teams touchdown coming, i.e. a punt return, kick return. I can see that from La Tech today being a big play.
Yeah, I look at it. I look at certain things too on that, but also what gets me too is Ricky Waters, the running back that transferred out of Duke University, was a good running back at Duke. Has now come into this play here. Has not shown a little bit of had shown the flash against Western Carolina, but then Tennessee just put the dogs on them. I mean, they stopped them run and passing. NC State couldn't even do nothing offensively. So I just didn't get Waters back and running the ball effectively like he did in that third and fourth quarter against Western Carolina in the first game. You got to get back to that running game.
You can't give up on the run. If they're not getting yards, you just ran the ball 14 times in the first half. Hey, figure out a way to open up some holes on that line. Run from the spread, do some RPOs, but don't give up on the run. Don't give up on the run. When teams have a good rush week and they show you statistically what they've done, well, they did 39 rushes last week for 212 yards as a team. Then they get into today's game. They're not looking too good here, Tom. They got 17 carries as a team and only 42 yards. What do you think they're going to do the second half? And they automatically come out just throwing the ball out, throwing the ball out. Don't give up on the run. Figure it out up front.
Yeah, and if you look at this thing too, if you look at what I'm talking about, is on the bright side of that Tennessee game, you can look at it this way: Wolfpack cornerback Aiden White returns an interception, 87 yards for a touchdown against Tennessee. He did it 84 yards against Texas Tech in 2002, giving him 2 of the 8 longest return yards in school history. So you got him still at that corner spot. How does La Tech do away not throwing the ball towards his side of the field, because he is a ball hogging corner? He can once he gets his hand on the ball, he can return it for longer yards. So does La Tech stay away from him, or does La Tech challenge him?
No, I'm not deviating from the plan. I'm not deviating. One player on defense in the secondary, and you want me to stay away from that? No. Now, if there's a back on that side, and a corner, and they all 3 on that side, I can feel your pain. Other than that, no, so many routes right now, misdirections, and all this you can do to really put the work on them. Make them play their best game, and you go out there and play your game. Watch. They do it in the movies all the time. Yep. Players that have been in that position, they tell you that all the time. I'm going to make them play their game. I'm not going to change my game plan just because, they got the number 1 recruit ever on their defense in the secondary. And I got a team right here. Let's go.
Yeah, so we gave you all information. It's time for your pick. Who are you taking? Are you taking La Tech, or are you taking NC State in this game?
As much as I like Raleigh, North Carolina, and I saw the blueprint of their $1.5 billion sports betting complex, Raleigh's come a long way since Crabtree Mall. I'm going with La Tech, baby. La Tech.
I'm going to go with NC State on that. I think they get back on the winning track against La Tech. I think Tennessee kind of scared them last year, but I think it's time for them to get back on the winning track. I think they could do it today against La Tech. Carter Finley Stadium, NC State plays better at home than they do on the road, even though it was a new site in Charlotte, North Carolina. But they got the home crowd advantage coming back today. I think they do it high noon on the ACC network. And we come right back here on the All Sports All Plays College Breakdown. We're going to break it up. We're going to do a fast rapid. All we did, we get to number 24, Boston College, to number 6, Missouri. What's happening in your state, the big game of this week, happened in your state, the number 24, Boston College, number 6, Missouri. When we come back from the All Sports All College Breakdown on the All Sports All Place Network. We'll be right back after these messages.
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays.
Welcome back to the All Sports All Plays College Breakdown. I'm Ray, that's Dre. We're coming right back here. We got to do some rapid fire here till we get down to our next game. I'll put the next game up here in a minute here. This is where we're going to be leading to. But first, let's take care of some rapid fire till we get there. It's only like 2 games before we get there anyway. Cincinnati at Miami, Ohio. Who you got?
Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati in this one also. North Texas at Texas Tech. Who you got?
Texas Tech, the Red Raiders.
You taking the Red Raiders? I'm going to take North Texas this time. Watch, every time I pick North Texas, they lose. So they're probably going to end up losing today. But I'm picking them anyway. All right, my friend. This game is happening, about a couple hours from you? Since you were in St. Louis, this game is happening in Columbia, Missouri. Number 24, Boston College Eagles at number 6, Missouri Tigers at 12:45 p.m. on the SEC Network from Memorial Stadium in Columbia, Missouri. My friend, tell us about Missouri Tigers this year.
The hype, man. They got Cook at quarterback, and they got Burton at receiver. Cook and Burton show, man. The greatest detective unit we've seen since Rico and Sonny Tubbs on Miami Vice. They got something special here. Offensively, they got speed, not just in Burton. They got smart play out of Cook, their quarterback. Their defense is reminding everybody of what happened when Mizzou came into the SEC. And it's reminding a whole lot of people that year that they went to the SEC. They're on a high radar, very high on the radar to get into that bracket. And it's early in the year. Now, in years past, watching Cook at quarterback, sometimes his decision-making, not seeing the window of opportunity, his late throw, got to have that field of vision. Not everybody has it. They get locked in on one side and don't forget to swivel their head. Got to keep their head on the swivel. But Boston College, hey, I don't want Mizzou to get over cocky in this situation, but Mizzou is coming in a very, very hot team. In a perfect world, this stadium here in St. Louis, Bush, should be hosting Mizzou Tigers game this year. But I don't want to say nothing too loud. They should. This team is hot this year. Jump on board. Make that adjustment. Take advantage of it.
Yeah, that too. But let's talk about Boston College's quarterback and Case Tinalios or something. I know I put a bunch of people's names on this show, but it's broken down as Case, Tell, and so. That's how I can break it down for you. But anyway, he has 19 out of 26, 340 yards and 6 touchdowns. The quarterback is a mobile quarterback. He can get out of the pocket when plays break down. He can continue plays when he does. He can throw the football. He is a complete package quarterback. How does Missouri defense try to corral him and try to take him out of the ball game? Because if he goes effective like he does against Florida State, it's going to be a tough day for Missouri Tigers.
It's a tough day to me when a mobile quarterback can read and react to the defense, make the appropriate throw, decides to take off at the right time, doesn't just attack one side of the field, but uses the whole field, doesn't overdo it when it comes to running, overutilizing the mobility. I like a running quarterback on a collegiate level. Don't get me wrong. But those that can really sit in that pocket and move that head, take off, throw the ball. Don't forget about their running backs or tight end. That is a Swiss Army knife of a quarterback to me. When I can observe that in the game, an in-game moment, or see it in games highlights, like, wow, that's something special there. It's like with Cook on the other side of the ball. The maturation process he has shown. But the only thing I would coach better him seeing the window of opportunity, talking about Cook. But on the other side, if Boston College doesn't believe in the hype of the opponent and go out there and just play the game, I'm not saying they have a chance of beating this Mizzou football team, but they have a chance of understanding the areas they need to work on, so to speak.
Yeah, that too. That's another thing too. But then let's talk about the Alabama transfer and Bond, the wide receiver for Boston College this year. He's been a different maker for them. He's only got 105 yards receiving, 1 touchdown, but he was not a factor the first game, but it was a factor against Florida State. How does Bonds get a factor in this ball game against Missouri today?
So you can already tell by last week's numbers and his game performance that he's a hype receiver. You don't want to get those hype receivers going because they could really take over a game. They could really get into your defensive player's head, can't sustain the matchup, getting beat the whole game. Tired of the coach talking to him. You can really take his heart out in the game. We've seen this happen, especially in years past. But in today's matchup, I just think Mizzou's defense and the speed and their defensive-minded coach and defensive coordinator, that whole coaching staff, they get why they're together. They get why they think this is the year for that football program. When you get that get factor, you just know early on by week 2 or week 3 what you have. If we can keep this going, we can be in that bracket.
Yeah, that too. That's another thing too. If you look at that scenario too, and then they got a running back who has 20 carries, 132 yards, and 1 touchdown, and in between the 2 games, and the Ward. So now Missouri, if you look at now, let's switch it a little bit around here. Let's talk about Boston College defense. How do you control Cook, who is 48 out of 67, 456 yards, and 1 touchdown, 1 interception? So how do you control him and Burton, that connection there that they have a nucleus going right now from Missouri?
A lot of substitutions, a lot of fluids Boston College is going to need because the speed And the way that offense has a lot of moving parts. They just don't stay there until the quarterback does his cadence and the ball is high. No, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of motion going on. There's a lot of communicating, a lot of hand motion. There's a lot going on to just say, hey, we got to go out here and stop Mizzou's offense. This is not Mizzou's offense from 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or 5 years ago. They've been building and working on something the past 2 years. Building and work, but they finally got it now. We're not going to change a damn thing. Let's turn it up, but let's not change that. When you have that mindset, now, hey, fellas, hey, let's slow it down. Let's rethink this, and let's get back to the game plan. That's different. But when you can tell your team, hey, let's turn this thing up, let's go. Let's go. That's different. That's different. That can go to 73-0 like that.
Yeah.
When you have the ability to pull your team together, offense and defense, and say, hey, let's turn this thing up. Talking about motivation. Talking about impactful. Play me my theme music. I mean, and I'm not a Mizzou football fan, but watching this program, you can't help but give credit where credit is due. And I can't help but give MIZ, their props. They're a fun program to watch. And Cook and Burden doing their thing. Cook and Burden coming to you each and every Saturday on the SEC network. Cook and Burden.
Now, let's don't forget, they also have another wide receiver who has 16 receptions, 179 yards, and Wees Jr., and also a running back in Noel at 23 carries, 121 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, they could be a diverse team. They could either run the ball, pass the ball, be effective one way. What idea of Boston College do you need to take away from Missouri, the running game or the passing game, and try to force a one-dimensional team?
What does Mizzou defense need to do?
No, Boston College defense needs to do to Missouri offense.
I'm telling you, man, they're going to need lots of fluids because they don't have to. You concentrate just on Cook and Burden, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. They have other weapons. They displayed that the past 2 games. I'm like, hold on now. Wait a minute. Hold on. They have him on the sideline. That speed on the sideline. That's another option at receiver. It's like, hold on. They have weapons right now. And everybody's always talking about to build a program, I need a 5-star recruit. No, you don't. You need some weapons. You need some assault weapons out there as football players to go get it. And Mizzou has figured out how to recruit for their program and their coaching staff, okay, to better their program. They're on that level. A lot of programs out here, they just come here and play football. Get on down here and play football. Nobody want to hear that shit no more. They want to win. I want to be on TV. What's that TV package look like? Huh? Just don't want to go to the Ithaca track meet bowl game. What? No. It's the message that they've been putting in these kids down at MIZ, ZOU football program.
Yeah, that too. This Boston College intrigues me. This matchup really intrigues me more of a fan that wants to watch this game more because the analysis of the quarterback against Burton, the wide receiver from Missouri, the defense, the offense, everything is going right for Boston College. Everything's going right for Missouri Tigers. Missouri Tigers ranked number 6. Boston College just got into the ranks this week at number 24 by beating Florida State. Now you got a top 10 matchup, a top 25 matchup here in this ball game. This is going to be a really good game here, set in Memorial Stadium in Columbia. Getting them on the map a little bit more for Boston College in Chestnut Hill and stuff like that, trying to get more people to come to their stadium. But this game is in Missouri. I think Missouri has an advantage at home. I think Boston College can play on the road and at home. They proved that at Florida State at Doak Cameron Stadium, going into a rowdy atmosphere there. I don't think they're going to be discouraged of the Missouri's home crowd. I think they know they're going to come in as an underdog. But O'Brien has got this team playing a much better football game football as he did before he left Penn State when he got fired up there. So how does O'Brien get his team ready for this ball game? I mean, pretty much you got a number 6 ranked team in the nation. I can get you right up right there to go in and spoil their chance of increasing their stands within the SEC, even though it is an overall game, not a conference game. So how does this ball game bounce back and forth between one team is going to go in and one of these teams is going to lose. One of these teams got to go in their conference play with a loss and not with the momentum. Which one needs the momentum to go into start their conference play?
I think Boston College, if I was the coach, it's composure. Keep your composure. Don't do anything out of ordinary. Keep the flags to a minimum. How that game is looking for his point differential at halftime, whether they're plus or minus, I'm a coach from there. That don't at halftime. If I'm Boston College, I'm still in this thing. If I'm Mizzou, they probably can't hear the coach in the locker room because that team is so hyped right now. Number 6, Mizzou. Number 6, Mizzou, September 14th, 2024. Not many saw this coming, but those that did are going to be there today in Columbia, on the hill, wave to the kids on the hill. And the momentum to me is on Mizzou side. They're coming out of this thing, hey, we can only go up, guys. It's an open field to me in college football right now. The way the game is set up, the way the schedule is set up, it is on the rise. It's anybody's invitation. Open invitation, open bar. Open bar. Everybody come on in. You have that type of opportunity this year. But Mizzou definitely has the momentum in this matchup. But let's slow it down a little bit, okay? Just because you have a job, a car in your own place, don't mean you're going to have a woman with you every weekend. Reality does set in. Don't overthink the process of Boston College. Don't think you got this game won and the game hasn't even started yet. Play it quarter by quarter. You don't want to do that. That's how upset Saturday starts, right there. They went in here thinking, just like Notre Dame did last week. They went in here thinking NIU was an NIL deal spelled wrong. That's what they did.
Now, if you look at the health checkup, this is interesting when I read about the health issues here. Luther Burden III, who left last week's game in the second quarter with an illness, and fellow wide receiver Theo Wise Jr., who had 10 catches, 149 yards, despite a sore hip, are both probable this week, according to Derswick. But the tight end Brett Norfleet, shoulder, and cornerback Jamar Wayne hamstrings are questionable. So out of these health information, these are some big losses if these players right here cannot play for Missouri. So the next man up, did that change the complexion of the game a little bit if Luke Burden III or Wise or Norfleet or Wayne don't play today for Missouri? Does that change a little bit?
Saying, man. They have weapons. They have the backup. Yes, the backup is ready. I saw that in the first 2 games. The first 2 games I saw, they have other options that are ready to man up. I'm ready to go too, Coach. These kids ready to ball out. And that's when you know you have that rare pedigree of a dog of a team. When everybody is ready. You don't see that often. When everybody is ready, he get tired, you bring in another stallion with that speed. That's the backup. And he's just a freshman. We're in trouble. We're in trouble if they got that. So I think Mizzou is fine, but it's going to be a game time decision. How important is it for those 3 to play? Are we going to put them in a situation they're going to get re-injured? Are we putting them in a situation, hey, we forgot to take that down, they ready? Or is this a Jedi mind trick?
Yeah, and if you look at the scouting report, this is a funny scouting report here. Derek Williams come out and said they're going to dink and dunk down the field. They're just going to dink and dunk down the field. Now you see that scouting report, they put it out there. You saw about a GI mind trick. Could be a deploy here. Try to get them and say, hey, we're going to have to play up because they're going to dink and dunk us if we play back. Well, that dink and dunk also sets you up for the big plays. And you got Burton and you got Wise. If they play, both got full speed. They have the SEC deepest wide receiver core in college football right now in the SEC. Missouri Tigers does. How does teams, since you say they are that, and you got the GI mind trick here, he said he's going to dink and dunk. How does Bill O'Brien kind of flip? Because he's got a lot of pressure on him because this is the first time Boston College has been ranked since November 15th in 2015.
So I was still
9 years ago.
2015.
Bill O'Brien's said this football program is a winning program, and they have won before, but it's been a while since they won. Now he's there. He's got them back in 2-0, back in there ranking for the first time since 2015, 9 years. So if we look at this complex here, who has the pressure in this ball game on them the most?
Boston College has the pressure. The pressure is on them. There's more pressure on them. I don't think Boston College has the size up front on their defensive line to get pressure on the quarterback and cook. They don't have the speed to match up on the outside. But the interior of the game, I think they have a little bit more balanced attack right there. Mizzou on the other side, defensively, that speed, how they communicate with each other, the substitutions, they're ready. It's like they want the ball. Everybody on the defense want the ball. They want a pick six. They want to scoop and score. They want to hit the quarterback. They want to put the turnover chain on. Everybody on the defense wants in on the play. They're attacking the ball.
Yeah, that's kind of scary because if they get the pressure on on the Boston College defensive line, they win the war down in the Grinches. I tell everybody don't believe me. Games are won in the trenches. The games are won on that offensive line. If you can't get no pressure on the quarterback, the offensive line's blocking. If you can't get the run blitz going or you can't get the running game stopped, you put 8 men in the box, it's going to open up the passing game more. The offensive line is the key in these games, and people don't understand the defensive line and the offensive line control games.
Protection.
The defensive line get in there, protection, all this other stuff. Get the defense. You got to play in a melody. You got to play in harmony. My coaches always say you got to play in harmony. Everybody's got to do their job because the corners will affect the pass rush. The pass rush will affect what the corners are doing.
Right.
Play call is going to affect whatever the defense is doing. The defensive coordinator is going to affect what the offense is doing. But that offensive line, and you said that Missouri has the advantage on that thing. How does the smaller defensive line of Boston College negate the pressure of the offensive line there?
If they can't get to the quarterback, apply no pressure at all, you got to get creative. You got to throw in some crazy looking stunts for as Boston College defense getting some pressure on Missouri's offensive line. There's some big boys. See, offensive lines that have learned. There's a lot of big defensive lines out here throughout college football, and you want us to run the ball. You want us to give you enough time to get the ball out to these receivers. We got to go big that can move the feet. So these offensive lines right now are just as big as these defensive lines. But on the other side, defensive people, for some reason, are putting like one big defensive player up front. And the rest are mid-size. But on the end, they're getting a little lean out there. Back in my size comparison to Javon Curtis back in the day. Former Gator. But that's what I'm seeing in football right now. But I still think Mizzou got this ball game won everywhere, probably except special teams.
Yeah, I agree with you on that aspect on that. So now we done talked about this. We gave out the nucleus on this, how the teams got to play in this ball game. How do you decide who you're going to pick for the winner of this ball game today?
MIZ-ZOU.
Yeah, I'm going to take Missouri on this one also. I think they're playing at home, playing great football. Boston College, really, that Florida State game gave me a pretty good idea, but this will give me a better idea how the season is going to go along with Boston College here. We're going to go here and do some rapid fires real quick till we get to our next football game, and that will be The next one we're going to be talking about is the number 9 Oregon Ducks, Oregon State Beavers at 3:30 p.m. on Fox from Reisner Stadium, Corvallis, Oregon. This does not feel as a rivalry game, but much more as demeaning it was back in last year. So, who you got in Massachusetts at Buffalo today at 1 o'clock CBS Sports Network? Who you got?
Who's playing each other?
UMass and Buffalo. This is
I
the
thought
rapid
you were
fire
just
part.
talking about Oregon State.
That's the one we're going to do when we get to it. We got to do rapid fire until we get there.
All right, so now we're doing Buffalo against who?
UMass against Buffalo. Who you got? Who's your winner?
Give me Buffalo.
Take Buffalo in this one also. Coastal Carolina at Temple.
Give me Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, Conway, South Carolina's got that one. Now we're going to talk about number 9 Oregon Ducks and Oregon State. The Civil War rivalry does not mean as much as it did back in the day. Usually play towards the end of the season. Now we're playing it at the beginning of the season. How does this college football landscape change this rivalry between Oregon Ducks and the Oregon State Beavers?
Well, if Oregon was healthy, it could feel like the days of yesteryear. But they're not as healthy, especially up front offensively, as everyone would like them to be. But they still got to play this game. Still got to play that game. Could be a couple of game time decisions. But I don't think you can rekindle it, but you can still bring back that competitive nature, that exciting matchup, the big plays, keeping the crowd involved into the game, keeping the players involved in the game. I don't think it's gone. It's just from what we saw Oregon do the past 4 years, I say, to seeing this team this early in the year, I think it's too early to tell due to the fact of the injuries that they have sustained. Now, Oregon State, on the other hand, I don't know what's going on with them with the quarterback decisions and the offensive play calling, play selection. I don't know what's going on. Help me explain what happened, Coach, because something's going on. They often see the wizard. They were on the pace to be in a conversation on a weekly basis, but something happened in Oregon State offensively, especially the quarterback position. What are they looking for? It's not what you wanted from Santa. Are you looking on a prototype out there? Did you have your hopes and wishes on the transfer portal? Did an NIL deal fall through? I want to know what's going on because the expectations level on that Oregon State Beaver program was about to start to get on the climb level, but they're starting to just balance itself out.
I agree with you on that one too, but both teams are coming in 2-0. They got Oregon favored to win. The matchup predicts 68.7% to 31.3%. I think Oregon State is trying to become a balanced offense, passing and rushing. The quarterback is McCoy, 25 out of 36, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns. The running back, Griffin, has 38 carries, 249 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then you got Walker, who got 12 receptions, 124 yards. But if you look at Oregon State, Gabriel is 59 out of 70, 623 yards and 4 touchdowns. James, the running back, is 32 carries, 197 yards and 1 touchdown. And then you got Stewart, who's 8 receptions, 127 yards and 1 touchdown. So, I mean, Oregon's more balanced offensive attack the way they do it under this system they got right now. But like I said, you're looking at some missing pieces. Oregon State is now trying to be that balanced attack, passing and running attack. That's what you see of the nucleus of their offense of last year. Mostly was the run dictating to the passing. This time it's both passing and running. And it's not dictating both which one is controlling which. It's just whatever game plan they can figure out they can best employ it against the defense. So what is the best employment against Oregon State against Oregon to keep their offense off the play? It has to be the running game. That's my opinion because you got to keep that high-power Oregon offense off the field.
Yeah, that's the thing with Oregon's offense this year. It hasn't been consistent due to the injuries. If they can get back to that format and get the right plays out there, even for the substitutions that's on that offensive line or in the receiving core, running back core, they got to be able to take advantage of that. Hopefully they worked on that this week in practice. But if they can get back to that speed, of Oregon in those big plays. That'd be a fun game. But if they're just going to play a balanced attack that Oregon State puts them in, it could be a very decisive late option win game for either team in the fourth quarter. If they're able to do that, they can put them in a state of mind to make Oregon play a more balanced offense instead of going with their high-powered offense, going for that money-hitting play. If Oregon State defense is able to do that, this could be like a 10-point differential win due to the fourth quarter performance.
So we probably both agree that Oregon State has to win the time of possession game.
Yes. Change the composure of the game. So
I agree with you on that aspect. I think they got to keep Gabriel off the field. The time of possession is going to be a key in this ball game here. There's a lot of stuff going around with Gabriel, and like you said, the injury aspect of this game here. It has postseason implication in the past. Now, not so much. That's what they're building this thing off of. Is Oregon decided to leave the Big Ten, they collapsed the Big 12. In-state rivalry was played over Thanksgiving weekend. Now, timely meant that often one or both teams were to be competitive for a spot in the Pac-12 championship game. That's now no longer of the rivalry. This is a totally a mind-boggling decision by college football. I thought Oregon will take Oregon State with them to the Big Ten, but the Big Ten decided not to. So that left them back in the Pac-12. The only two teams in the Pac-12, Washington State Cougars and the Oregon State Beavers, are the only two teams in the Pac-12 left right now. But I don't know how the Pac-12 is managing just with two teams. That's just unbelievable here.
Wasn't it breaking news that 4 teams joined like Wednesday night or Thursday? That'd be Wednesday night.
Let me see, Pac-12.
Yeah, they got some new additions. Somebody just joined. I think 4 or 5 teams just joined them. It was late news, early morning in one of those days.
All right, let's see. Big 12. What teams are doing in the Big 12? Okay, now the Beaver and the Cougars will be joined by Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and San Diego State in the reimaging of the Pac-12 in 2026. So there you go.
See? Yeah.
So now they added 4 teams. I don't know how good these 4 teams will be, but put it this way: the Pac-12 is known as the championship. According to Bill Walton, it was the championship. It was the Conference of Champions. That's no longer now. They just told it out when UCLA left. All the basketball championships went with them. So they're no longer the Conference of Champions. They're just a conference of, I say, Bad News Bears type deal. But yeah, that's your new one. But I look at this the way too. Let's continue with this going. We get a little bit off the track a little bit here. Let's continue a little bit here on this side here. Oregon Ducks can get after the quarterback, but Jamie McCoy, first year starting, replaces DJ Ugalea. How does the Ducks pressure get to him? But even though they're playing at home in Corvallis, Oregon.
Yeah, that's it. The crowd definitely is going to be very influential and probably cause some problems and some hiccups because this is a rivalry, whether you believe it or not. It really is Oregon against Oregon State. Well, there are 2 different quarterback styles now with Gabriel there and DJ gone. But Oregon State still needs to, if they can figure out a way to take advantage of playing at home, and the time possession is key, minimize the mistakes, as in the turnover game, win the turnover game. That's key for Oregon State to get a victory today.
Yeah, this is the 128th meeting in the rivalry, which used to be known as the Civil War. It is the 7th most contested game ever and 2nd most in the FBS level. Oregon leads 68-49-10 overall, but Oregon State has won the last 2 played at Riser Stadium. The Ducks won last season game 31-7 at Ogden Stadium. This is the first time the rivalry game has been played in September. That's some tidbit on this. But you can also build it. You can also make this game really hype. this could be the battle of the recruiting in the state of Oregon. So,
kids don't want to leave home. Got to stay here and work on the farm. Got to help the family out. Stay here.
So let's do the transition since this is the first time the game played in September. Who's going to win this first time September edition of the Civil War?
Due to the injuries up front that Oregon has sustained, I'm going with Oregon State.
I'm going with the Ducks. The man in green.
Going with the Beavers.
Phil Knight, the home of Nike. All right, let's do a little bit of rapid fire here. Ball State at number 10, Miami. Who you got?
Give me Miami.
I'm taking the Canes. Canes looking very sharp. Tulane at number 15 or number 15 Oklahoma. The Sooners.
Me Oklahoma.
Taking the Sooners in this one also. Number 18 Notre Dame at Purdue. Who gets to win in this game?
Notre Dame has not impressed me yet, so I'm going with Purdue. Give me the Boilermakers.
Taking Purdue. I'm going to take Purdue too on this one. All right, my friend. This is the game we're going to bring up here. This is the game of all games. You're wearing the team colors. Texas A&M Aggies at the Florida Gators at 3:30 p.m. on ABC/ESPN Plus from Ben Hill's Griffin Stadium in Gainesville, Florida. What is your take on your Gators in this ball game today?
We got issues at the quarterback. Don't know who to start. It's going to be a game time decision. The games that we've played, there's questions with the play calling with me. How indecisive he is. I don't know if it's the coaches as a whole, if they've been communicating, but there's too many questions offensively with the Florida football Gators. I don't know if it can be fixed in 1 week because we won last week, but hey, we played Baton Rouge University Baptist College, I believe. We're too caught up in the documentary, too caught up in what we used to be, what we're being reminded right now when Chris Leak was there and Tim Tebow was there, having a two-headed monster at quarterback when we had that going on, that situation. So it's bringing a lot of Gator fans to that year, that time of Gator football. So the excitement is through the air on what this team can do. We've seen what they can do offensively with the ball when there's consistency at the quarterback position, when there's protection, when the right play is called with that particular defense is out there on the field. We know what they can do defensively. We know what they can do for our special teams. The questions and the bigger questions at the quarterback position and the play call for the Florida football Gators this early in the year. Those are the concerns.
Yeah, that too. The matchup predictors got favored Texas A&M 59.4 to 40.6% here in Griffin. Do you think this will be a sellout crowd in Gainesville today? Or will the Gainesville fans start turning on the coaching staff?
I'm watching the pregame right now on the SEC Network, and just looking at the pregame, if there's that many Gator fans at the pregame riding the mechanical alligator, I got to get one of those. I want to do that. I done rode a mechanical bull before, but never a mechanical Gator. Yes, I think this game will be a sellout. That's one of those stadiums. We're one of those teams. We need the crowd. We need Gator Nation. We need all that. Bring in the noise. Bring in the funk. Bring it all.
Right now, the betting line, according to ESPN Bets, is Texas A&M is favored by 3. The over and under is 45.5 in this ball game. Do you take the over or you take the under in this game?
I'm taking the under in this one. Taking the under. And I'm taking my Florida football Gators.
You taking the Gators on this one?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I think this is Wageman has done pretty good. He's 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So he throws 1 touchdown, he throws 1 interception according to the ratio there. He's 1 for 1. But your quarterback, Wayman, 21 out of 31, 487 yards and 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. But then you got Johnson Jr., who's rushing 26 carries, 173 yards and 3 touchdowns. And you got Wilson at the wide receiver spot, 13 receptions, 191 yards, and 1 touchdown. But then if you look at Texas A&M, they got 29 carries, 154 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Moss at the running back, and their receiver is Allen, who has got 7 receptions, 100 yards. I think this is going to be a tale of two tapes here. I think the offense for Texas A&M and against the defense of the Gators. I think the Gators defense is not right where they need to be right now. I think they're on a little bit of a thing. I think this is the decline of the Gators. I think the coaching staff is one of the issues. I think the head coach is really the big issue there. He's not a game manager. He's not a CEO type person who can understand the defense and the offense and how to make the corrections and what they need to do in practice. So is this the game that could decide the factor that by the end of the season that he's no longer a Gator head coach?
By the end of the season, Ray, if we lose this game, he's fired. That's the SEC. You don't get the whole season, then get fired. No, it don't work that way. No. As soon as there's an issue, we've talked about it. We've broken down how to fix it, both sides. And you go out there and do the same thing? No. Time for you to go, sir. Time for you to go. If there was a moving van at his property already, that means a decision has already been made. He just playing this game out. If they win, he's telling his wife and kids, just go ahead. We're going to rent out Airbnb until we figure out what's coming. We're going to play this week by week. If he loses today, but who do you bring in? Who do you bring in?
I don't know.
Who's out there? I mean, is that an alumni?
Steve Sperry's too old, so we won't see him coming back.
He's on the board. I mean, what? I just don't think his words, his choice of words is relevant today when he's trying to recruit.
I mean, when you got Steve Sperry going on the Feinbaum show and blasting this Gator team, really talking about the coaching staff is not up to par to where it needs to be and all this stuff, people start listening because Sperry is the man who had him and Urban Meyer as the last two winningest coaches right there and winning national championships for the Gators. So, I mean, when Steve Sperry talks, people start listening. So, is he leaning towards trying to get them to fire him after this ball game if they don't win this game today?
But who do you bring in? Who's that hot thing out there? I haven't heard of nobody like, oh, this could be the next coach in D1. I don't see none of that. I don't see any of it. I see coaches joining the NFL, joining the XFL, moving to HBCU, moving to other schools within their own HBCU ranks. But I don't hear of anyone like, hey, this could be the next coach out there. I think Brian Kelly's on the hot seat. I think Napier's on the hot seat for sure. It's embarrassing to have that name, to see all that on the wall in the stadium, and to see that team, that play call. What? That's difficult. It's like a slap in the face. It really is. And I know we can do better. We got the recruits. We got them dogs in-house. But the coaching is atrocious.
Yeah. Because if we look at this fact alone, what I looked at here, the defensive coordinator, Jay Bateman, defensive line coach, Shane Spencer, linebacker, Scooby Williams, and defensive back, Jaden Hill, will be on the opposing sideline at Florida Field. Another potential awkward moment for former Florida legend, NFL great Emmitt Smith, whose son's EJ is the backup running back for the Aggies. So now that's a little interesting tidbit because you got the former Gator Emmitt Smith, his son's now playing for the Aggies. How does Emmitt Smith battle this emotion? Because he's a Gator, big time Gator NFL player, also a former Gator player who did big times for the Gators. Now he's got a son. How does he run his emotion here? Does he wear a hat? That I've seen some players do it. Don't get me wrong. I've seen some former players do it. Have a half hat of Gators, a half hat of where their son's playing. Half the heart's with the son, the other half is with the team that they played for. How does Emmitt Smith does he go for his son? Does he put on the Aggies uniform, Aggies shirt or some kind of sport to come back into Ben Hill Griffin Stadium where he played football? How's the reaction will that be?
It's not about Emmitt Smith. It's about his son, and that's his dad. So, of course, he's going to support his son. That's crazy. He going there and put Gator shit on. The hell? That means they ain't your real son. He's going to go in there and support his son.
I see.
Man. If it was the 70s, of course he'd be on Florida side. If it was the 80s, Florida side. The 90s, Florida side. But it's 2000 and on. People are a little bit more going toward their kid now. But if it was the 70s, hell no. His son would have probably never made it to Texas A&M. You're not allowed in my house during football season. How about that?
Hey, I've seen a lot of things transpire in my lifetime watching teams, watching other players and dads who played at this college come back and don their former team's uniform, not even rooting for their kids, and then told his kids, hey, look, we're not talking this week because we're rivals. I've seen that happen.
Oh, yeah, back in the day, that's commonplace, but not today. That's not going to happen today.
No. So
unless you get the wrong couple who got divorced and they're battling over the kid, who you like better, mommy or daddy.
So are you taking your Gators today?
Of course.
I got Texas A&M on that. When we come back, we're going to do some fast, rapid fire back down all the way until we get to the Washington State Cougars and the Washington Huskies game at 3:30. So we're going to do a little bit of rapid fire until we get to that game. After these breaks on the All Sports All Place College Breakdown, I'm Ray. That's Dre on the All Sports All Place Network with a tongue twister. Well, we'll be right back.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. 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 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. 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 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Welcome back to the All Sports All Place Network on the All Sports All Place College Breakdown. I'm Ray Crews. Ray will be back momentarily. We are going to go a little bit here. We're going to talk about a little bit, some stuff going on in the world of college football, the way the realignment is going on, how does people react. You can send your comments on the realignment. You can send your comments on any games that we discussed so far. You can even send your picks if you want to see what you can, who you pick, if you agree with us or disagree with our picks. If you didn't know some betting information, you can put that out there. If you're bettors and stuff like that, you can do a lot of comments on that. We'll put it on the screen. We interact with our fans. We try to get y'all to interact with us on the college breakdown show. So, but we're looking at some of the stuff here. We're talking about the Gators, the downfall, the coaching staff, and stuff like that. So, I mean, we got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We probably got about 9 more games we're going to discuss. And then we got rapid fire. We are now on game number 18. We'll be rapid firing all the way down to we get to game number 20, which is the Washington State at the Washington Husky game. So we'll get Dre back in here. We'll get our picks going on. So until he gets back, we're going to do another break real quick here. Stand by. This is the All Sports All College Breakdown show with Ray Crews and Dre Montez on the All Sports All College Network. We'll be right back.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. 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 365, we're making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. 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 365, we're making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Welcome back to the All Sports All Plays College Breakdown. I'm Ray Crews. We'll bring Dre back home momentarily. We're on the All College Sports Breakdown on the All Sports College Network. So we got really going on here today on the ASF Sports. We're going to go rapid fire. Let's bring Dre back in here. My friend Dre. All right, Dre, let's do a little bit of rapid fire. We're on game number 18, Prairie View A&M at Michigan State. Who you got?
Michigan State.
Taking Michigan State also on that one. Nevada at Minnesota. Who you got today?
Nevada. I like their speed.
You like Nevada? I'm going to take Minnesota because I like what I've seen when they played North Carolina. All right, my friend, this game will be the game we're going to break down here. There's another rivalry that has been broken up due to change of conference. The Pac-12 Washington State Cougars versus the Big Ten Washington Huskies at 3:30 p.m. on Peacock from Lumen Field in Seattle, Washington, the home of the rainstorms. So, my friend, this ball game here was a big rivalry played towards the end of the season. Now we're back in September on this one. What do you look at this type of Washington team? New head coach, and Flask, who was at Arizona now, Fisk was at Arizona now, it's at Washington. The Washington Cougars have been playing okay football right now at the beginning of the season. They're 2-0. Both teams come in at 2-0. But you figure the season that Washington had last year, getting to that championship game, not being ranked this year. What is going on with the Washington Husky program under the new head coach?
It's hard to go in somebody's house and wear their shoes. And that's where he's at. That's not his program yet. Those are not his players. I think he brought like 5 players with him. That's not his team yet. He doesn't have the players that he wants. He's getting through this season, not try to overdo it. Don't want anybody to get hurt that he really likes, wants to bring them back next year. There's still a little eligibility left that could help out with the team. So I think he's going to try to play it safe, try to win like 6 or 7 games to guarantee a bowl. But until he gets his players in there, we're going to see a lackluster Huskies program.
Yeah, and if you look at Washington Cougars right now, you're looking at the quarterback position. Jay Mateer. He's 20 out of 36, 467 yards, 6 TDs, and 1 interception. But he's also the leading rusher for the Cougars at 23 carries for 252 yards and 2 touchdown dual threat quarterback position there. How does the Washington Husky contain Mateer as a passer and as a rusher?
Two-headed monster. I'm going to tire him out. You can either bait him into throwing or let him run and tire him out. Because these quarterbacks going to get enough of being hit. They're going to learn. These linebackers and linemen, they're not the average size they were 10 years ago. They have speed and power. They're bigger, faster, and stronger. You bait him into throwing, you may have a chance. But if he's able to get 150 running and over 175 yards passing, you done had a long day defensive Washington Huskies.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good analogy that you brought up there too. But on the concept here, the wide receiver for the Cougars, they got 5 receptions, 162 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So he could pass the ball, he could run the ball. But let's turn around the Washington Huskies offense here. They got a quarterback who can throw the football. 41 out of 52 of 511 yards and 5 touchdowns, but they got a running back who's got over 231 yards. So they are not a dual hit threat with the running quarterback, but they also got a running game that can match with the quarterback position. So
they have the players to put up the numbers to win a game. Washington does. But it seems like they're lacking confidence because they didn't come in ranked. They're not where they want to be at as a team. And that's an uncomfortable feeling when you know you have a good team, but you're not there yet. And if you're a leader on a team, it really bothers you because you can see and know what you've been through. And now you have a team, but it's missing something that's pretty hard to do and overcome. That's confidence. And if they can do that with their play a smart game, play Husky football, it's the little bitty things that can move the needle a whole lot. Just the little bitty things. You got to do big things all the time. Just little bitty things. Getting out of the bed every day before 10 a.m. That's just a little bitty thing. Leaving the house by 2 p.m. Now you own the sun. Now, if you can do that for a week, you're starting to develop a little confidence in yourself. And that's all the Huskies need to do. Develop confidence as a team. That coaching staff, they know what they want to do. They already have their dream board. They know what they're going after to get that program to where they want it to be. They have a great coach, or he won't be in the Huskies program.
Yeah, that too. He did a good thing at Arizona. Started Arizona out to where they are right now. Last year. Now he's got to go build what Washington had last year. It's kind of hard when you go to the national championship game, like you said. That's not all his players. He still got 2 or 3 more recruiting class getting there for the program to be changed the way he wants to see. Then we can see what the takeoff there. So the high ceiling is right now for Washington is a high ceiling. So now they're going to give him. How many years do you think they'll give Fisk to build this program?
At Washington?
Yeah.
Because of his credentials, I don't think he's anywhere in the position of Brian Kelly, Napier. Those are my 2 coaches I can think of right now who, to me, job is on the hot seat. If you got to give me time in this new way of age of building through transfer portal, NIL deals, you're not going to have 10 years to build a program. Let's be real with each other, sir. Okay. So maybe 4 to 5 years. That's consistent winning. But as fast as they build these programs now, due to what I just said, the transfer portal, in the way recruiting is done now, and all these NIL deal situations, you can get some great players in one season moving forward. Like if the hype is there, if the way these kids communicate, when it happened to be a coinky ding, hold on, 7 players just transferred to Washington. Hold on, they've been talking. That means they got something in that house everybody want to be a part of. When you see that needle move like that, that's the A. You see that? They had 14 players transfer. Hold on now. Hold on. What's going on? Them kids talk. And when they know they're a part of something, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, I agree with you on that too. But now we're looking at the shape of this, the rivalry. This is the battle of the in-state of the Washington State thing. That's the only thing they can play for now. Is not trying to knock somebody out of the playoffs or trying to knock somebody out of a bowl game contention here. That's not where it's going to be shaping up here. If you look at the matchup predictor, Washington is favored by 6. They gave Washington 64.4% to 35.6% for the Washington State Cougars there. This game will be played, probably in Seattle, Washington this year. Not, it looked like it's going to be played at the freaking Seattle Seahawks stadium this year.
Boom.
That's kind of unusual that these two teams will play in that venue. The game time is 62 degrees. The over and under is 54.5. Washington is favored by 6. So that's if you're a betting man. So, all right. So who are you picking in this ball game?
I'm picking Washington.
Washington. Huskies. I'm gonna take Washington State on this one. I have a feeling that Washington State could pull the upset on this game today. All right, let's do a little bit of rapid fire here, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna go to rapid fire here. All righty, VMI at Georgia Tech. Who you got?
Georgia Tech.
Taking the Yellow Jackets. This VMI team looks promising, but not can match up with a Power 5 conference. All right, West Virginia will go into Pittsburgh at 3:30 on ESPN2. Who you got in this ball game?
West Virginia has made me mad this year. Give me Pitt.
Taking Pitt. I'm going to take Pitt. I'm going to stay in the ACC. I'm an ACC homer, I guess. Morgan State at Ohio. Who you got?
Give me Morgan State.
You taking Morgan State? I'm going to take Ohio. Troy at Iowa. Who you got?
Give me Iowa.
I'm taking Iowa. Iowa's going to revenge the loss that he got at Iowa State last week. Appalachian State at East Carolina. This is the game we're going to talk about here. This game is at 4 o'clock on the ESPNU from Downey-Fickle Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina. Been there plenty of times. The Green Hill Party School. And it's definitely a party school because you party all night if you win. So there's going to be a party anyway. But the Green Hill is the winning formula. They celebrate the victories off the Green Hill. If you ain't never been to a victory party, I went to the one when when East Carolina beat Miami, the Hurricanes. Oh man, that was a big victory on the Green Hill. A lot of partying on that one, my friends. But anyway, let's talk about East Carolina, the Pirates. What does East Carolina look to you? Have you seen them play any? Have you heard about them any? The eye candy looks pretty good. They're 2-0. Appalachian State comes in 1-1 after they lost to Clemson last week. What is the thing for the Pirates? Can the Pirates continue the win streak today against Appalachian State?
If I'm ECU, I'm staying alert this whole game because App State is one of those schools. If you fall asleep, they're gonna take advantage of it. If you think you got something, they're gonna take advantage of it. Don't dangle the game of the ball in front of them. App State will take it away. Their type of football, that type of coaching style goes on there. I would be awake all aspects of the game if I was ECU. Offensively, defensively, special teams especially. This could be one of those trick play games, onside kick early, the old flea flicker early in the game. I could see that happening with App State trying to do that to offset the game situation between them and ECU. So that's my message to ECU. Boys, stay awake. Stay alert.
Yeah. If you look at if you look at the two teams, what's similar to two teams are both teams are a passing team. Running game's okay, but the receivers are good, the quarterbacks are good. How does East Carolina and Appalachian State make each other one dimensional and make them not beat them by the pass, but make them beat them by the run?
First
You
one, you
put
can take advantage of that turnover. Got to take advantage of that turnover early. The earlier the turnover, the more it can hurt the opposing team, especially in college football. They cannot get over those early game mistakes because here's the first thing coach say. We just talked about this, Billy. And you go out there, now you on the sideline looking at the breakdown of the play, and you miss two open receivers. It's the mindset.
Yeah, you said mindset is very, very well there too. But Appalachian State's got to going into other people's stadium and pulling these upsets. They did it at Big House. They did it at Carolina. They did it at other places. Now they're trying to go into East Carolina to do the same thing. The matchup predicted is 42.4% for Appalachian State to 57.6% to East Carolina. The battles of the Carolinas going to be playing in this game here. Who has the upper hand in this ball game?
What you just said there a minute ago about all those teams that App State beat, they had a whole lot in common. They fell asleep on App State. They forgot they were playing a football game. They didn't respect the team name or where the school from. Boone, North Carolina. I think App State has the advantage to hit them if they can hit them in the mouth early, especially with the turnover. That's why I see the game-changing point happening for sure. I don't know if it's an upset or not, but to me, if App State can go in ECU and win this, hold your composure, you can change the whole concept of this game, complexity of this game. If App State can go there with that mindset, damn who we playing. Let's go play football.
And if you look at this thing too, if you look at the two quarterbacks, Aguilar for Appalachian State doesn't turn the ball over much. He's 40 out of 77, 540 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interception. But Garcia this year, he is 48 out of 74, 591 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. So every touchdown he's thrown 3 interceptions. That's the kind of a ratio breakdown. He has more turnovers than thing. So Appalachian State's defense can force Garcia in some turnovers by bringing the blitz or bringing extra man in on the blitz. This will be a long day for East Carolina. So if you look at them two numbers, really Appalachian State, if you look at it, has the quarterback advantage because he doesn't turn the ball over. He played against Clemson, even though they got blown out. He did not turn the ball over against Clemson's defense. So I mean, he does protect the ball. He values the ball, but Garcia is more of a gunslinger. He reminds me of a Brett Favre. He's going to put it in tight windows, easier time to pick off and stuff like that. But does East Carolina get the running game going under Harris? Harris has 32 carries for 155 yards and 2 touchdowns. Can Harris be the man that they can lean on and try to bring the pressure off of Garcia so Garcia can throw the ball down the field?
I wonder what type of defensive setting App State going to come out. They're going to come out putting a lot of people in the box to make them run the ball, make them pass the ball. Make them pass the ball by putting 8 in the box, but using that speed to back up to get you ready for the pass and then negate them in the running. But the one thing I have noticed in the past 3 weeks of college football, from week 0 to now, 3 weeks technically, when they're able to disguise the defensive coverage and cause confusion for the quarterback, there have been mistakes made. But some are able to go ahead and deviate from that plan, as I saw in the Miami, Florida against Florida game, how they tried to rattle him and it didn't work. Some quarterbacks just have that in them. You can't rattle them. I'm still going to play the type of game that is called for me in this situation. You have players that have that in them.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one too. So I mean, that's a lot of variables there in this playing game. So now we get to the point. Are you taking Appalachian State or are you taking East Carolina? Are you taking the party school or are you talking to a team that can go into anybody's stadium and beat them?
He didn't mean that, y'all. App State a party school too, my man. I'm taking App State.
Taking App State. I'm gonna take East Carolina. I'm going with the school from the college, from the coast, from the definitely more of a party school than Appalachian State because East Carolina's known as a party school.
Kids in the mountains have more fun than kids by a beach.
I don't know because I've been to both campus. And you go to East Carolina, you were walking by the dorm room, they'd be handing you beers at the door.
It's beyond that and boom. It's beyond beer. At that moonshine.
I don't know. I have to ask my nephew because he's now at East Carolina Pirates. He's a freshman at East Carolina.
Oh, that poor kid doesn't party. He's not allowed to. They check out.
No, actually my nephew is pretty smart. So he's in the engineering program. So I don't know if he's at that party or not. Hope not, because my sister would lay him out if he is.
There's a Nancy at every school. He running a Nancy. He gonna change his whole damn complexion of the college life.
But he's an East Carolina Pirate. He's a freshman this year. He's done big things. So yeah, he's an Eagle Scout. So he's pretty much can handle himself. I think he's prepared for it. But I think East Carolina's gonna win this ball game today. All right, rapid fire here. UAB at Arkansas. Who you got?
Arkansas.
Taking Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
You taking Arkansas?
I'm
gonna take Arkansas too. I don't like Arkansas, but I will take them. Number 12, Utah at Utah State. Who you got?
Give me Utah.
I'm taking the Utes. The Utes. UConn at Duke. Who you got?
I gotta support Molly for my first take. I'm going with UConn.
You going UConn on this one? I'm gonna take Duke on this one. North Carolina Central at North Carolina. Another battle with the Carolinas.
That's a party school. North Carolina Central. Against who? North Carolina who?
Tar Heels. You're going against my Tar Heels.
The Tar Heels going to beat the shit out of me. Tar Heels going to win.
Yeah, I'm taking the Tar Heels too on that one. Virginia Tech with the police escort goes into Old Dominion today. Who you got?
Give me Vatech.
Taking Vatech. Last time Vatech went to Old Dominion, they got upset. Florida International at Florida Atlantic. Who you got?
Florida International. FIU.
Taking FIU in Boca Raton. UTEP at Liberty. Who you got?
Liberty Mutual. Give me Liberty Mutual.
Yes, the God's church will take him. Billy Graham's church of school.
His son.
South Carolina State at Georgia Southern. Who you got?
Give me Georgia Southern.
Taking Georgia Southern. Colgate at Akron. Who you got?
Brush your teeth, kid. Akron.
Taking Akron. All righty. Gardner-Webb at Charlotte. Who you got?
Woo! Give me Charlotte. Shout out to the Cackalack. 704.
Oh, you pulled out. You're taking Charlotte. I'm going to take Charlotte too. Gardner-Webb has really impressed me. All right, my friend. Number 5, Old Miss Rebels against the Wake Forest Demon Deacons at 6:30. This is on the CW network from Allegiance Federal Credit Union Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. A mouthful of stadium there. How we look at the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest, who lost to Virginia last week in some kind of freaking battle. That was a battle of the game. That was a good game. Went all the way down to the wire, and Virginia won it. So how does Wake Forest get back on the winning track? And can they get it back on the winning track against the ranked number 5 team of Ole Miss Rebels?
That's going to be a tough game for them for Wake Forest because Ole Miss is looking damn good. They're looking really, really good this year for some reason. It seemed like they picked up from where they left off last year. They had a lot of people leave their school in the offseason. I don't know the quarterback situation at Wake Forest.
is Batchmere, Bachmeier. He's 45 out of 70, 666 yards. What's a bad number there? That's a yeoman number there. That's like the double number there, 666. 400 with 4 touchdowns. They do have Kyle Bourne, who has 38 carries for 221 yards and 3 touchdowns for Wake Forest. But Green is that leading wide receiver with 14 receptions, 238 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dark is coming in for Ole Miss, 47 out of 54, 795 yards and 6 touchdowns. H. Parrish Jr., who's the Miami transfer with 22 carries, 205 yards and 4 touchdowns. And their leading wide receiver is T. Harris, with 17 receptions, 309 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that's your leading getters for both teams.
Gotcha.
So
I miss Wake's old quarterback that transferred to Notre Dame that's not gone out of college. I liked him at Wake Forest. He was tough.
Hardman.
Yeah, he was tough.
If you look at the series, it's in Wake Forest's favor because Wake Forest leads 2-0 in the series. They only played 2 games. Wake Forest won both of them. Mm-hmm. Ole Miss by 23.5 points. Number 5, Ole Miss is 2-0. Wake Forest comes in 1-1. This game's at 6:30. Well, I told you on the CW network. The key matchup is quarterback Jack Dart, wide receiver Trey Harris of Old Dominion's passing game against Wake Forest defense that gave up 357 yards passing against Virginia, and Anthony Cordano for Virginia, who torched Wake Forest defense last week. So how does Wake Forest defense come back and combat with Jackson Dart, who can throw the ball to Trey Harris? So that's going to be an interesting matchup between the offense and the defense of Wake Forest. So who's got the advantage?
The speed I've seen from Ole Miss, I don't think Wake Forest can keep up with them. I don't. I mean, they're fast on the outside. They're pretty smart on the interior of the game, and their coaching staff gets them prepared when they get to that decisive point of the game. When I always talk about that in-game coaching or making that halftime change, really changing the whole game plan at halftime. I just don't see Wake Forest being on the upside of this game, offensively or defensively. What I've seen of Ole Miss this year, yeah, they're going to have a hiccup along the way, but their hiccups are not that bad. Just pat them on the back, they'll be better. Give them a drink of water, they'll be better. I think they're to that point in this matchup against Wake Forest this week.
Yeah. So who you got in this ball game?
I'm taking Ole Miss.
Taking Ole Miss. I got Ole Miss too in this one. Let's go to rapid fire. Bethune-Cookman at Western Michigan. Who you got?
Give me Western Michigan.
Taking Western Michigan on that one also. All righty. UTSA, University of Texas San Antonio versus number 2 Texas. Who you got?
Texas. Keep winning, Texas. Keep winning.
Taking Texas on that one. Vanderbilt at Georgia State. Who you got?
Give me Georgia State.
Ooh, you picked against the SEC team. Ooh. I'm taking Vanderbilt in this one. I think Vanderbilt's going to go 3-0. Jacksonville State at Eastern Michigan. Who you got?
Eastern Michigan.
You're taking Eastern Michigan on that one. All righty. I'm going to take Jacksonville State on this one. Kennesaw State at San Jose State. Who you got?
San Jose State.
I'm going to take San Jose State also on that one. Western Kentucky at Middle Tennessee. Who you got?
Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm going to take Middle Tennessee. I have a feeling they're going to win. Hawaii at Sam Houston. Who you got?
Hawaii. 808 in the building.
Take them also on that one. South Florida at Southern Miss. Who you got?
South Florida.
Taking South Florida. All righty, my friend. We're going to go here. The next one here. Number 1, Georgia Bulldogs at Kentucky Wildcats at 7:30 p.m. on ABC/ESPN Plus from Kroger Field in Lexington, Kentucky. How do you feel about this game right now? Do you think Kentucky can upset the number 1 ranked team in the nation, Georgia Bulldogs, in this ball game?
Right now, Georgia should emphasize nobody on the team is allowed to drive. No more. We're talking about it again other than football. We're talking to the press, not about our matchup, but about DUIs and speeding as a Georgia football player. It's every week with this program. College football has a problem. They got to address the DUIs and the speeding in college football, just in Georgia, and the gambling with these kids. In this game here, Kentucky does have, to me, the ability, the know-how, and the expectations for an upset. But let's be real. Kirby's a good, pretty smart game planning person. He doesn't get rattled often. When he gets rattled, there's furniture moving at halftime. We've heard stories about what happens at halftime when things are not going Kirby's way. I'm not going to say Georgia's going to dominate this game, but as running back Kentucky's going to be challenged more to stop the run than the pass. If they can stop the run and put Georgia in position to throw the ball, that's where it could be an opportunity of an upset. But if they're able to run the ball against Kentucky, that ain't going to be Kroger Field no more. That'd be Deerbergs or Piggly Wiggly.
Going to the old. Some of the Piggly Wiggly is still available, but you're going to the old grocery store chain, Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah,
that's an old one. But yeah, I agree with you that time. I agree with you too. I think the running game is going to be big for Georgia. I think Georgia will be the big selling point there on that thing. So I look at it that way too. But I think Carson Beck is a whole lot better quarterback this year than he was last year. He has no interceptions so far. He's not turning the ball over. He has 7 touchdowns, 41 out of 58, 520 yards passing. But Frazier's 17 carries, 111 yards, and 1 touchdown to look at for Georgia. But also look at Sumbo Kremby at Kentucky, 25 carries, 129 yards, 1 touchdown. But the key receiver for Georgia, is Smith, 9 receptions, 129 yards, 1 touchdown. To Keys, 5 receptions, 96 yards. So one team is going to rely on the rushing game, and the other team is going to rely on a combination of a rush and a passing team, which is Georgia. Georgia can pass the ball and run the football. Kentucky is not that elite yet on this side of the ball. It's taking them a little while to get back. Why is Kentucky falling off this quickly than what they have in years past?
The schedule. That a pretty lackluster schedule as the program was building. But that's what I told you about what college football did this year for scheduling throughout college football. These early matchups, I love it. The midseason matchups, I love it. The new playoff format, it's great. It's open season for everybody. Everybody gets a turn. But Kentucky, for some reason, sometimes it's hard to start the season the way you finish it, on a strong note. You got to keep that intensity in the offseason, but it's hard to do that with all these rules and regulations, what you can and can't do with these kids in the offseason. But if Kentucky can figure out how to turn it around, you don't have to beat them in every aspect of the game to win a football game. You don't have to do that. You don't have to beat them offensively, defensively, and special teams and coaching. That's a beatdown. That means that team didn't come out the locker room. But if you can win the game at certain points and capitalize on the turnovers, pay attention to the field positioning and that time possession, you could win a football game. But those are those hidden gems in a game that most teams don't take advantage of because they're overhyped. They're paying attention to the wrong thing. They're playing the game but not listening. They're playing the game but not watching. And it's hard to do all those things. But the ones that can pick up on it through communication, verbal and nonverbal, it makes it easier to do. But when you're trying to do everything in one game, as I said earlier, you cannot win the season and the championship in one game. You can't do that.
Yeah, that two things. So I mean, Georgia comes in at ranked number 1. They got some momentum they want to take. They had the bad taste in the mouth last year. Didn't get picked and go into the playoffs last year. So now they're kicking their butts and trying to get back into that playoff contention, which they probably will be this year. But I think this game right here, I think Georgia's going to outman Kentucky. I think the recruiting is way too much for Georgia. I think Georgia's got more talent than Kentucky right now. I think Kentucky fell off from what they had a couple years ago. It's not the Stoops' fault. It's the NIL and all that. A lot of people don't want to go to Kentucky to play football for some reason. But I think Stoops is trying to work as best he could. Do it. I think Georgia's going to win this ball game. I got Georgia in this game. Who you got?
What's wrong with bluegrass? What's wrong with Kentucky? What's wrong with Lexington, Kentucky? What's wrong with Owensboro, Kentucky? What's wrong with those colors, blue and white? And Bob Stoops is a great coach. Great coach.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a great message and opportunity he can give that team to put them in position to win the game. But I wouldn't try to come out with that much energy, play real complacent. But overall, I got Ugga winning the Georgia Bulldogs, but please stop drinking and driving Ugga players. Every week, somebody in jail, being arrested for what? Speed.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead and talk about this game right now here. The North Iowa Panthers at Nebraska Cornhuskers at 7:30 p.m. on BNT. Nebraska has moved into the top 20. I forgot to put it on there. They moved into the top 25. They're ranked number 23 in the nation. Bowles got this team rolling in his second year. What happened in the second year of college football? Team rolls. Team picks up steam. Is this Nebraska team for real?
Give me 2 more games, and I will know. I like where they're at as a black shirt fan. I like where the mentality at, where the team is at. And I like the believability in the team and the players, especially the quarterback, that dude with the funny voice cousin that plays for the Kansas City Football Chiefs. But the program looking good. Looking damn good. That game against Colorado. Earlier I said they looked like they were an NFL team playing. I'm gonna give them freshman varsity football team. The speed, the size, the way they could coverage. You thought this man was open, boom, get that quick. The way they hit, they not just hitting you and wrapping you up. No, it's some pain, it's some power behind these hits. That's that old school football, the way Nebraska was playing last week. If they can continue that, they can get in the conversation like, with a little bit more players, this team could be climbing the ladder each and every year. I could see that for Nebraska. But don't get caught up in your own hype. Don't smell your own stink and don't think you don't stink. Realize where you're at, what could be. Take advantage of opportunity, but don't overdo it. But it's the same thing. Don't fall asleep in this game. But Nebraska looks good. Looks good.
Yeah, I agree with you too. Nebraska does look good. They pulled on without even thinking what they could. They exposed Colorado what they were. That ball game, I think Roll's got them rolling right now. As we see them progress into the Big Ten area and games when they go into conference, we'll see how good they really are then. Right now, they got Northern Iowa. They're going to overmatch Northern Iowa today. I think Nebraska's going to win this game. But I just want to get you – I don't know why I picked this game to break it down a little bit. I just want to get your pick on how you think Nebraska looks so far. So we'll come back and judge that. Once Big Ten starts during the Big Ten season, we'll come back and judge that because I know we'll probably break them down some more and those college breakdowns as the season progresses. So I've got Nebraska winning. You got Nebraska winning too?
Yes.
I got the Nebraska Cornhuskers go. All right, let's do some rapid fire here. Let's do some rapid fire. New Mexico at Auburn. Who you got? Does Auburn get back on the winning track today?
Give me them Auburn Tigers.
Yep, getting Auburn Tigers. Toledo at Mississippi State. Who you got?
Mississippi State.
Taking Mississippi State on that one. Indiana at UCLA. First Big Ten matchup of
You know
UCLA.
what? I'm gonna roll with Deshaun. Let me go with UCLA on this one.
Oh, you're going UCLA. I'm going to take Indiana. I think Indiana could pull the upset there on that one. Air Force at Baylor. Who you got?
Be Baylor.
Thinking Baylor. I'm going to take Baylor too over the Air Force. All right, the next game we're going to break down is Colorado Buffaloes at the Colorado State Rams at 7:30 p.m. on CBS from Cavas Stadium in Fort Collins, Colorado, where Colorado feel that they had that game beat against Buffalo last year. Can Colorado State Rams pull this victory against Colorado today at home?
I think Colorado is too banged up. I don't think Shador's healthy. The frustration with their best player, Travis Hunter. Deion's son on the defensive side. Just there is no accountability in what I saw last week. Colorado State, they showed me last year they can play football in a rivalry. The expectations were high. They had the fans into it. The players, the coaches were engaged in the whole game. And you miss that in some matchups from college football, but see these rival matchups are, you're like, you feel it. You lean into the TV. You standing up like you're part of the coaching staff. So I think Colorado State has the advantage in this matchup. Colorado has to do a lot. This is more than simplifying the game. This is more than the offensive line doing a better job of protection. The defense looks lost for Colorado. Lost.
Yeah, I agree with you on that certain point. I think Primetime's got a little bit of the coaching. He's got to coach his boys back up a little bit. I think the Hunter deal, the Hunter distraction with the big mansion that they showed on newscast that he's got, I think that big lavish style, the way they're using him on corner and wide receiver at certain points, I think that's a little bit of mind-boggling. He's playing two ways, not getting tired as easily there. But like I said, the banged up position there that you say that Colorado's in right now is very huge. I think Colorado State's going to come in and act like they should have won the game last year. I think they're going to try. I think the talk between the two coaches last year filled this rivalry a little bit more. To this, I think it gives a little bit of advantage. But the matchup predictor said this is not going to be a close game. 80.8% for Colorado, 19.2% for Colorado State in this ball game. What you said, Shador Sanders coming in 49 at 72 with 689 yards and 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Fowler Nicolius is 28 out of 45, 261 yards and 1 touchdown and 1 interception. But if you look at the rushing game, Hayden only got 14 carries, 52 yards, the leading rusher for Colorado. Colorado State's got a leading rusher is 35 carries, 173 yards, and Marshall. But then Travis Hunter, the corner / wide receivers, got 17 receptions, 242 yards, and 3 touchdowns. To a Horton, 8 receptions, 96 yards, leads Colorado Rams. So that's a little bit of disparity there. Colorado is favored by 7.5. The over and under is 59.5 in this ball game. So I don't know if this is going to be a high-scoring game or it's going to be a low-scoring game or this is going to be a defensive battle in this ball game here today. But I think Colorado has a little bit of a chance to win in this ball game. You know, if you look at the two games here, Colorado Rams played Texas, lost 52-0, then came back and beat UNCO 38-17, and Nebraska and Colorado beat North Dakota State 31-26, close game there, and then they lost to Nebraska 28-10. So if you look at that two things, one's coming in with a high one-game winning streak, and the other one's coming in on one-game losing streak. So who continues to win? Does Colorado get back on the win or Colorado State?
Did you say that the 80% chance that Colorado wins this?
Yeah.
Did they say Shador Sanders is going to play this game? And Travis?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can get the injury updates here.
Because he was banged up. Shoulder, everything, neck, ankle, foot.
Let's see here. What's at stake? Key matchup. I'm trying to see if they got the.
If Shador not quarterbacking,
They didn't say. No injury updates has been provided by Colorado in this ball game, so he's keeping it hush hush if it is because they list nothing for injuries and stuff like that. Let me see if I can find it on the internet here. Colorado.
I will take Colorado if Shador is playing.
Let me see if I can get an injury report. Let's see what they say here. He did provide an injury report for Sports Illustrated. During Tuesday press conference, Deion Sanders provided injury updates on key Colorado Buffalo players, highlight concerns ahead of their upcoming game against Colorado State. Sanders began by addressing the status of Chazdovi Nokovi, who sustained an injury believed to be his ACL joint during the Colorado Risk game against Nebraska. He transferred out of Houston. Significant contribution. Sanders also updated Dylan Hayden, another viable player from Colorado. Hayden, who transferred out of Ohio State, is Colorado's leading rusher through their first two games with 52 yards. He said he's likely. He thinks he's out, according to Deion Sanders in this article here provided by Sports Illustrated. Shador Sanders was taken out of the game last week late in the fourth quarter. He is expected to be back on the field after a helmet-to-helmet hit. Additionally, Shiloh Sanders is expected to be sidelined for 2 to 3 weeks following his arm injury. So he says Shador should be back on the field today. And he didn't mention anything about Travis Hunter.
So. Yeah, I'm reading the same thing what you are right now. Okay. I'll take Colorado.
You gonna take Colorado?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Colorado too. Very iffy. But I'll take them too. But it's gonna be that's gonna be a very iffy game though. It might be a good game to watch. So all right, UCF against TCU, the three initial teams.
Give me the Horned Frogs.
You're taking the Horned Frog. I'm going to take UCF. I'm staying in the state of Florida. Eastern Illinois and Northwestern. Who you got?
Eastern Illinois.
I'm going to take Northwestern. Kent State at number 7, Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee. That's speed.
Yeah. All right, my friend. The last game that we're going to break down, and then we finish off with the fast, rapid pick 'em after that. Then we're going to revisit the Maryland Terrapins at Virginia Cavaliers, 8 p.m. on the ACC network from Scott Stadium in Charlottesville, Virginia, to renew of a rivalry that started back in the ACC days when Maryland was in the ACC. What are you looking at the Fighting Terrapins against the Cavaliers today, bud?
Man, I miss those days. This was a classic matchup back in the day. Fear the turtle. Fear the turtle. When Maryland had that great defense. Just reminiscent of those games, hearing about those games, those matchups. Man, that football program has been through a lot in the past 5 years, man. With players off the field, facility, fan base. But Maryland is somehow trying to come back into the realm of being a conversation piece when it comes to collegiate football. Now, Virginia, on the other hand, I'm confused on what they're doing. Are they a running school? Are they trying to get into the defensive conversation? Hey, come to us. This is where all the defensive players go. Or are they trying to stretch the field with this receiving core? I'm confused on what Virginia is trying to do as a football program.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of angers me because the leading running back is 16 carries, 107 yards, and 1 touchdown for Virginia. That's pace. But Colander, the quarterback, is 50 out of 66, 654 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in this game here. And they got a wide receiver that's got 16 receptions and Fields with 248 yards. So, but then you look out on the other hand, if you turn it over to Maryland, Felton has 18 receptions, 330 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then you look at Edwards Jr., 46 out of 61, 564 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception for Maryland. But empty, the 26 carries, 101 yards, and 1 touchdown. I mean, both teams look like they're going to be a passing team. But then again, Pace last week was running the ball against Wake Forest, and then Calandra was going all off on Wake Forest's receiving core. So, how does the Terps contain the quarter make Virginia run the ball more than pass the ball today?
I'm gonna show them blitz each and every time. Show them blitz. Show them blitz each and every time. I like when a defense can rattle the quarterback or even rattle a running back. You make them change their whole trajectory. They just do everything that they're not supposed to do, all because you're going to use it in the game. Fear the turtle. If that defense is able to fear the turtle, emphasize that when they're attacking Virginia's offense, I can see a high turnover rate here. Pick 6, scoop and score.
Yeah, if you look at it, this too, the matchup predicted 67% gives it to Maryland, 33% gives it to Virginia on this one. It's a little even killed there. If you look at the over and under in this ball game, it's 56.5, the over and under, and then you got Maryland's favorite about 1 point.
Ooh, they being stingy.
And it's going to be 74 degrees, partly cloudy today at Scott in Charlottesville. So if you look at that, if you look at the revenue here, if you look at some of the things on here, the series record, Maryland leads 45-32-2, but they haven't played in a while since Maryland left the ACC to go out to the Big Ten country. So they're renewing the rivalry today. Who are you going to take?
I'm going with Maryland. Huh?
Who are you taking in this ball game?
I got Maryland.
You got the fear of the Terps. I think Virginia might get the ups. I think Virginia might get the victory. I think Virginia might ride that victory against Wake Forest into this ball game and ride it out as another victory. There, playing at home, Scott Stadium has always been a good place for Virginia to play at home. It's a tough place to play when you play the Cavaliers there, home crowd. So, my friends, we're going to finish it up on the high notes here. We got exactly 13 minutes away before we go to live football. Before we take you out. So, my friend, Rice at Houston, who you got?
Houston.
Taking Houston Cougars? I'm going to take the Houston Cougars, too. BYU at Wyoming, who you got?
It's time to let those boys have some fun. Brigham Young.
I'm taking Brigham Young also. San Diego State at California, who you got?
Cal.
I'm taking Cal, too. Cal is playing some good football right now. New Mexico State at Fresno State will finish up the 59th game of today. Who you got?
New Mexico State.
Taking New Mexico State. I'm going to take Fresno State on this one. All right, we got to do week 4 picks. We got a Thursday night game, South Alabama at Appalachian State. Who you got?
I'm rolling with App State again. Quick turnaround, boys. Quick turnaround.
All right, on Friday, September 20th, Stanford at Syracuse. First Stanford ACC game. Who you got?
Stanford.
You taking Stanford on this one?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take Syracuse on this one. Illinois will go to Lincoln, Nebraska to take on the number 23 Nebraska team. Who you got?
Ooh, quick turnaround, boys. Whoa, I'm going to roll with Nebraska again.
I'm going to go with Nebraska, too, on that one. All right, San Jose State will go to Washington State. Who you got?
Washington State.
All right, I'm going to take Washington State on this one, too. So we have picked all the games all the way up to now, and we have picked up the first 2 days of week 4. So next week we'll do the week 4 Saturday picks like we normally do here on the College Breakdown. What do you want to see today on the college football? What game are you really hype about seeing today?
The games I am hyped about. I'm hyped about the LSU at South Carolina, Texas A&M at Florida. That's a given. Georgia, Kentucky. Baylor game, and Utah State, Oregon State. Those are the 6 games I'm looking forward to. Right there. Those 6.
All right, my 6th game is the LSU South Carolina game. The Alabama Wisconsin game is 1. I want to see the Florida State Memphis game. I just want to see what Florida State looks like. I want to see what the NC State looks like after our loss against Tennessee. How they do against La Tech. And then my other big one will be the Maryland and Virginia game, the renewal of the rivalry. So that's the games I'm looking forward to. We got about 10 minutes to go. Do you have a favorite of a Heisman front runner right now? Is it too early for you to pick?
It's way too early. Way too early. I don't know how people do that. Like on Sundays, how they already doing who's going to the Super Bowl? Who's going to be the MVP? Can y'all let the season unwind? Can we take it week by week? Every time they rush the conversation, the week just blow by. Can we take it one game at a time? One game. They already talking about the kid from Tennessee, the quarterback. Oh, he's a Heisman front runner. Really? We just started the season. Let's give me a week 5. Week 5.
All right, we look at the top 25 rankings. Out of the top 25 rankings, number 1, Georgia, number 2, Texas, number 3, Ohio State, number 4, Alabama, number 5, Ole Miss, number 6, Missouri, number 7, Tennessee, number 8, Penn State, number 9, Oregon, and number 10, Miami. Any surprise of the top 10 right there?
Mizzou and Miami. Nobody expected those programs to be that high this early in the year. Mizzou expected to play well. Miami expected to do well. They didn't know how the transfer portal quarterback was going to do, but they have increased the expectations at the right time with those programs. Mizzou right now is in a conversation, especially if they win today, and depending on how the rest of the SEC does around them and the rest of teams in the top 10 do throughout the day. It could change the whole narrative for Mizzou football this early in the year.
If you look at it right now, if you're looking at the bragging rights right now, out of the top 10, you got SEC Georgia, SEC Texas, you got a Big Ten Ohio State, you got SEC Alabama, you got SEC Ole Miss, you got a SEC Missouri, SEC Tennessee. You got 7 SEC teams in the top 10 right now.
Yeah, it's best conference in football. It's supposed to be that way. But it's all going to come together when Tennessee and Texas play.
Okay. Let's break down the next.
Huh?
Go ahead. Finish what you said.
I said that's really going to say it's a matchup that's coming the next 2 weeks. There's a whole lot of teams going to be like, oh, well, let's concentrate on next year. And there's going to be a whole lot of teams like, okay, I told you what we got here. Let's move forward. In the next 2 weeks, we're going to see all that change about these early expectations. The Heisman competition, Coach of the Year, who's on the hot seat. All that's going to change in the next 2 weeks. All of it.
Yeah. And you look at that too. Let's take the next top 10. The next 10 out of that. Number 11, USC. Number 12, Utah. Number 13, Oklahoma State. Number 14, Kansas State. Number 15, Oklahoma. Number 16, LSU. Number 17, Michigan. Number 18, Notre Dame. Number 19, Louisville. And number 20, Arizona. Which of those next tier teams are you surprised of being ranked so high?
The bottom 5. Because the bar was up here for them to do well. The bar was raised for them to do well, and they have not. That's why that bottom 5 of that top 20 is that way. They have lowered the bar at those programs this early in the year. In programs that high on expectations, when they lose early, they're defeated. You've already let their out of the ball. No pun intended, Tom Brady. You've deflated the ball for them.
Yeah, and now if you look at this next 5, which is Iowa State, Clemson, Nebraska, Boston College, and Northern Illinois. We know Northern Illinois is going to probably be the surprise out of that 5. Who is the next surprise out of that 5?
Nebraska. Didn't expect them to make the top 25 this early in the season.
How about Boston College? You expect them?
No, not really. They fluctuate. They're up and down, but Nebraska was pretty much defeated. Every time about taking the program away, showing the girls volleyball team other than the boys football team. That's how the conversation was going. That's how the narrative was going when it came to Nebraska football about 3 years ago, leading up to last year. Maybe we should stop showing Nebraska football game and concentrate on the women's volleyball team. That's where they were headed to. It was that.
Yeah,
it was that bad when you had a football program. All they talk about is football. They preach football. It's football, God, and family. It's schools like that. That's how they roll.
Yeah, I look at some too, and that perspective in there. So I mean, right now, do you have a front runner that's going to win the SEC? You have a front runner that's going to be. Is Alabama still up in that front runner position, or Georgia? Can Missouri become that top niche in the SEC this year?
Missouri's schedule was on pace to help them. There are no hiccups if you look at their schedule. I don't think Alabama is that strong of a team. I don't think UGA can stay healthy for the style of football that they play offensively. So I have Mizzou winning the SEC.
You got Mizzou winning the SEC.
MIZ-ZOU.
Yeah, it's a big time in Columbia. I mean, what, you about 2 hours away from Columbia? You gonna go down and celebrate with them if they win the SEC?
Of course, that won't happen. Not so fast at all, my friend. No, sir. No. They can have all that. Have all that. It's some things I don't ever want to go to. It's just when you grow up in this area, all the commentating for Mizzou football was pretty much boring when it came to the football. They called the game with the monotones of saying, it's 3rd and 1. Oh, that's a long bomb. Oh, that's a touchdown. Mizzou's winning 31-3. That's how it was. It was no excitement. It was, and then by the time I became a Florida fan, it was too late to jump on a bandwagon as Mizzou. And then they came in our house, they came in uninvited, moving their own furniture into the SEC, winning that sumbitch their first year. But it is what it is. Like I say, I respect MIZ-ZOU fans, but I don't don those colors and I don't go to their games. No, it's like moving backwards in time down there. It's not 2024 down there. It's maybe 2008. It's slow. They still have pages and fax machines down there. But if they can win a national championship and get in that playoff format, things are going to change in Columbia. They could get Uber and Lyft. They could get 2 Taco Bells.
Do you have anything that you want to talk about what's coming up on Who's to Blame podcast? What you got coming up this coming up week?
Oh, yeah. What I have coming on this week, I had some difficulties that I realized on my end. So I still have not recorded a podcast episode this year because I do my Montez at midday, Monday through Friday from 12 p.m. Central Standard Time until about 12:30 Monday through Friday. But this coming Wednesday on Who's to Blame the podcast be the first podcast this year. So you get to hear a lot about the things I learned about the world of sports on my 4 months off and about things for us being adventurous and also the upside of understanding who you are in your craft, your field, or your passion. So those are the 3 things I want to talk about on this week's episode of Montez at Midday. It'll be episode 551. So this Wednesday, about 2 p.m. it goes live, but I also recorded on Spotify, Apple, and Google Music. Well, Google Play.
Oh, that's
so
good.
That's what I have coming up.
That's good. The Jag Nation will be coming on at 9:30. I'll be talking about the loss in Miami. It was a good game down there. I'll talk about the experience with the fans in Miami while I was sitting in the stadium there when the last kick went on. But I also will talk about what's game coming up on Sunday. The Cleveland Browns will come to town. Both teams come in 0-1. Needs a victory here, leaving the stadium. We'll talk about that. We'll break that game down. We'll break down a lot of stuff on Jags Nation. Jags Nation first episode coming back this Saturday at 9:30 p.m. So it'll be 9:30 p.m. till about 11 o'clock. Jags Nations will be with you here on the All Sports All Place Network. Well, Dre, it's been a great day here with you for the 3 hours. 2:59. We got 37. We got 20 seconds here. We're going to sign off. I'm Ray. That is Dre. You're listening to the ASAP All Sports, All Plays College Breakdown and All Sports, All Plays Network. See you next week. Same time, same bat channel. Good night.
All right. Good show, my man.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.